That's true.
Which one of
Personally,
these
I would
fools
save the
is...
blackberry for when it's like deeper into fall, but that's just me.
The blackberry also has chipotle peppers in it.
Oh my god, that sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's
Blackberry.
fucking nice.
Black fucking berry.
Yeah, this shit is like really expensive. It's like $25 for a 750-liter
Dude,
bottle.
I would kill for like a mead right now. You don't even understand.
Do they not
I've
have
got
mead
a
in Poland?
pretty nice home bar. I'm happy about it.
Mwah. Miss ya.
Also, I'm ready when you guys are.
Thank you guys for joining me if you guys are leaving. And I'll definitely be on Monster Hunter back again tomorrow for my entire stream from 1900 GMT plus 2 till 12 a.m. So.
Also, just let everyone know, if you guys pick up Borderlands and need help, hit me up. I hit level 50 like yesterday, so I'm starting to run Mayhem 2.
Are you on Borderlands 3? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
I don't have that yet. I want to pick it up so bad. I definitely
It's so
probably
fucking good. One of the best games I've played in the last decade, hands down.
Yes, Aurora, I do have a Twitter, and it should be linked below on the Twitch page. Wherever it just says under About Me, there's a social media thingy. You can hit Twitter, or you could just message me on Discord. I will always answer Discord. Discord is the easiest way to stay in touch with me. Okay. I am ready.
Same. I'm good to go. So, there you guys want to start. I am here for you.
Am I? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, let's see.
Yeah. Cranberry was a good call.
Either one of those would have been a good call.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been a bad time either way, okay?
Give me a second. I got you, Aurora. I have so many viewers.
Oh my god, Connor. Dude. Oh, fucking Christ, this is horrible. This is the worst thing, one of the worst things I've ever seen.
There you go, girl.
Okay.
Alright.
BRB fucking off in the human race.
Take me down first. Okay. Alright.
Okay. Am I? Nope, this is the wrong campaign.
Am I good?
There we go. That feel when you have two Roll20 games going on and it loads into the wrong one.
That means you clicked the wrong one.
So I could go through my notes if that's okay.
I mean, if you want to, I
Rattle
wrote,
that off.
you know, a book chapter. 3 pages. But you can
I've
read
got
your notes.
one, but I think you know how if I miss any details, you can fill them in.
3 pages.
So we started off last game back at our house in Dragon's Rest. There was a discussion about trying to go out and get supplies. Flint specifically was very itchy to get more bullets, and the decision was made to go to Fort Ranik over Meyerfall. because there was probably a better chance of finding bullets at a military-type establishment. It was going to be 3 days of travel regardless, and the entire group decided to head off together. After the first day of travel was uneventful, the second day we were ambushed by griffins from above. The griffins did a couple of swooping attacks before Darrow managed to send off a powerful guiding bolt into the side of one of them and singed it nearly to death immediately. After which point I believe it escaped, or the other one escaped, and one of them was taken down, or both of them were taken down. We succeeded
One
in not
escaped
being
and one
killed
was
by
taken
griffins.
down.
Right, so one escaped and one was taken down. At that point, Skulker decided he wanted to try to get another trophy, and proceeded to, I believe, cut the wings off of the griffin and take its head. Darrow preserved them, and they were put and stored either in the bag of holding, or Skulker just carried them himself. After getting to Fort Ranik, on the way to Fort Ranik, when we were very close, there was a family that the group passed.
A caravan.
Yeah, caravan. Yes, a caravan. And Flint approached them because they looked very sad. After having a conversation with them, with the apparently family head, the man confessed that he had a daughter that went missing, and suspect that the syndicate is behind it. The description of the girl was that she had auburn, long hair, green eyes. She was wearing a simple dress and was around 17 years old. Her name was Jessica. After further questioning, we found that, I think it was further questioning from Inquisitor Davos, that Darrow sent a sending message to, that there's been people missing all across the continent, or the country at least, and they all have been youthful. The oldest has been 27 years old. After getting inside of the city, thanks to Kiri and her pendant, and Darrow disguising himself to look like a normal human person, we got into the city and found the Sleeping Bear Inn, which was located near the city square of Fort Ranik. The bartender's name was Derek. The other half of the group that was not Kiri and Darrow, Skulker and Flint, went to the taxidermist shop, where they talked to a man who appeared to have been almost already dead, but had huge glasses, spindly fingers, and kind of noticed they were there, but might have thought that they were dreaming, and gave them a quote on how much it would cost to have the 2 Drake heads and the 1 Griffin head. After some bargaining, I believe the deal that was struck was 1 gold for the singular Drake head, and the taxidermist got to keep the Griffin and the second Drake
No,
head
it
for
was
themselves.
2
Just
gold
one
and a
Drake head.
Drake head for the griffin, and the Drake had to be done in 2 days.
2 gold? No, I thought it was worked down to 1.5.
Something.
I said 1.
Whatever.
But
Yeah.
you probably have notes on that, because that was just from
Nope.
memory. I didn't write down the price.
I don't have notes ever, so let's start there.
1.5.
Yep. After going to the taxidermist shop, the duo went to Murray's Mead and Munitions, where Flint had an extended conversation in Dwarvish with the cheery man behind the counter. They exchanged money, and in exchange got bullets and
Goods and services.
And whatnot. And then the group made its way to the Sleeping Bear Inn after receiving a message pigeon or creature from Kiri, telling them where to go. Everybody got rooms, had dinner, and went to sleep, and I believe we're waking up.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Thank you for filling in the notes, Ega.
Mm-hmm.
So, this morning, y'all are inside a tavern, which is pretty nice because you've either been in like a kind of old abandoned keep or like on the road, and then prior to earning the keep, you've been on the road for a while. So it's nice staying in like a nice place. This is a classy inn, probably yes, this is the classiest inn you've stayed at thus far during the course of our campaign.
Even fancier than the Rumbling River Inn.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, remember, like, drinks and food are included with our room.
Right, I think Rumbling River we had a meal, but we didn't have drinks included.
The low tier drinks are included here.
There's a pet deposit also here.
Yes.
That's true. That usually indicates that they care a bit about what goes on.
Yeah. Oh.
So
Morning.
I guess an hour. Sorry about the crinkle. An hour after daybreak, I think I would have wandered my way down, prepared for the day, and look for breakfast bar or table to sit at, or if anybody else is awake yet.
Mm-hmm. So Derek isn't here at the moment. He's like the large bearded guy you saw yesterday behind the counter. Currently, there's like 17-year-old kid behind the counter, human. He appears he's cleaning mugs and stuff. You see him getting drinks to some of the patrons who are at the bar.
No, disguise is up because that's how they know me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this guy sees you come from upstairs. And he's like, "Oh, good morning. Can I interest you in some breakfast or a drink?"
Yes, breakfast, please. Do you have coffee or black tea?
Tea, yes. Coffee, we are out. We have to replenish our stock.
Well, black tea will be mighty fine indeed.
Very well. Have a seat. We'll be right out.
Thank ye.
And like the smell of like cooking bacon like permeates the air here, and so you're getting like it's like odd. It's like scalloped breakfast potatoes with like some eggs mixed in and chopped up bacon in them. I have to be careful because I'm very fucking hungry right now, and I might just rage if I describe the food too intricately. So
It
like,
is a good-looking breakfast.
Yeah, diced potatoes with eggs and bacon. And
Damn, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh, fucking some cheese in there too. And then you give you black tea also. Barmaid like brings it out, sets it down in front of you, says, "If you need anything else, just holler." And she like walks away before you can even answer.
I will enjoy my breakfast and be assumably solitude and excuse me, quiet.
would head down promptly to join Darrow with breakfast.
As would Flint.
Hans would come along, obviously in disguise as a wolf.
So you see the barkeep like staring at Anzu particularly well, or particularly like intently, not in like a angry kind of way, but in more of like a curious kind of way. You're like, "Oh, it's an interesting little guy you have there." He like leans in a little closer and he's like, wolf that size usually they'd still have their milk teeth. Yours doesn't. He's stunted growth?
He's a little bit of a runt, you might say.
What are milk teeth?
Like
deciduous teeth,
basically. And he kind of just like, you see him ponder for a second, and just shrugs it off. Like, oh well, what can I get for you?
Breakfast and a tea would be lovely, thank you.
You're welcome. And he looks at you, and what can I get for you, sir? Flint.
Oh. Well, is that tea that I smell? I would love some of that. Might also get some breakfast.
Surely. Have a seat. It'll be right out.
Thank you kindly, sir.
You're welcome.
I guess Skulker would wander down at some point. Yeah. Give me something that goes down easy. I'm old.
Very well.
Beans and
He walks over to a cask that's like mounted behind the bar and like pulls the tap and like begins filling up a goblet or a tankard. Puts it in front of you. He says, "It's honey wheat ale. Nice and smooth. Should do just the trick."
I said I'm old, not a puss. No, thank you.
Can I interest you in anything of the solid variety?
Eggs? You got eggs?
Close enough. Have a seat. We'll be right out. So, y'all are at the same table. Barmaid brings out 3 plates of like the same like diced potatoes with eggs and bacon. Like you get the feeling that they're not cooking to order; they just have giant batches of this stuff going. And she also has a small cake plate with a smaller portion that she sits down in front of Anzu on the floor, and like almost robotic in a way. She says like, "You need anything else? Just holler," and like doesn't wait for a response and just walks away. Same spiel she gave to Arrow. Also, I have a personal thing I'm trying to improve on. I'm going to try and stop saying like every other word. So
I had to do the exact same thing. I'm awful at that.
That is a tough one. Best of luck.
In the teeth. Yeah, if it comes down to it, just let me know.
Can do.
Anyway. Yeah, so it's breakfast time. You see, there's like a light bustle outside, but
kicking the tea.
Crazy. There's a small bustle outside. Nothing too like it's not hectic or anything, but it's like what you'd assume to be average street talk or like average street travel. And basically there's like a couple different
This is gonna
I
be
can't
really
help it. I'm trying to avoid excessive like I'm trying to keep it to a baseline.
I'll stop. You do you. Keep trying.
I'm trying.
I'll just tally them up for you at the end.
Fair enough.
The only notes you'll ever take is how many.
Yeah. So there's a couple patrons scattered around. There's 2 wood elves in the corner. There's a couple humans sitting at the bar. There's a couple humans also seated on the floor. There's maybe 15 people in the room total, counting you guys and not counting the staff. Could seat 40, looking at the place. So like less than half capacity, so enough space where you feel like you got room, but not enough where it feels like the room's empty.
Do you guys,
Okay, so did you guys accomplish what you were trying to accomplish yesterday? Skulker, Flint.
I mean, we have to go back and pick them up when they're done.
Oh wait, when's that?
Shit.
do you need to decide?
Roll me an intelligence check.
It's either 2 or 3 days.
Oh shit, Connor, how many bolts did I get? Totally forgot to put it down.
100?
100?
60.
Oh.
Oh, okay, I thought there was haggling after that. 2 or 3 days, DM. Or do I just fudge it, say 2.5?
Beginning of tomorrow. Is
Okay.
when he said you can pick it up.
Solid. Also, I have some supplies I might want to pick up, but I don't know if I have the funds.
What kind of supplies are we talking? Are you talking alcoholic supplies or actually useful things?
Yes.
Get fucked.
Alcohol would actually be useful in this case. Trap making supplies.
Right,
I mean-
for the keep.
Yeah.
Because when we sold the Ankeg plates, the proceeds of that I put into our bag for the purposes of spending it in things that would benefit everyone. I do have a number of coin left in that.
Well, here's the
fund,
thing. We
and
don't
that can
have
be used
anything
for
too
traps.
much useful at the keep at the moment, and it looks like we have a lot of work on our hands with this whole disappearance thing. So do we want to hold off on keeping, like...
Well, I mean, I can prioritize my list, and Skulker pulls out like a small grocery list. Not groceries.
What's your number one item there? Just
A shovel.
curious sake.
A shovel.
Okay, that's a
And
fair choice.
maybe a wood cutting axe.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Okay. And then after that, really just lots of thin wire rope.
Okay, well, I can help you pay for the supplies. Beside that, we should definitely find out more about what's going on with these disappearances.
I agree. We know from Davos that it's kind of happening everywhere, and there's not really a pinpoint to it. And that the only suspicion is that it's the Syndicate.
Well, we also know that all victims are younger. They're under 30. There's no specific
so are
race.
you suggesting we start trailing some kid and wait for them to be kidnapped? Like, I don't know how to use that information.
I would definitely keep an eye out on adolescents that may or may not be targeted. And then I would kind of like tilt my head towards the bar.
You see the barkeep there, kind of like, yawning, stretching.
Okay, cool. Good idea, Kiri. What's his name?
I don't know.
Barkeep.
He kind of just looks over at you.
What's your name? Please.
Henry.
Hi, Henry. Nice to meet you. I'm Darrow.
Hello there.
Can we get a
Turn
little
back
bit more of a
around.
description of Henry?
Yeah, 17-year-old human male, brown hair, brown eyes, athletic build, but not like built, just kind of like trim, streamlined. Looks
Okay.
like he's done his fair share of farm work in his day.
And the waitress, did she look young?
Yeah, she may be like 23, 24. Older than him for sure.
We should probably get her information, just in case.
Skulker agrees.
How did she look like? First, let's start with that.
Human, female. I don't know. Insert like human.jpg here.
She's
Nothing
in
really.
She's in the service industry. She's inherently above average if she's still working in that.
All right. The rule of Josh.
I mean, it's a pretty good rule. He's not wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
16 intelligence doing work.
Well, yeah. We should definitely keep an eye out on more happenings that may or may not have to do with these disappearances. Meanwhile, we can go fetch Skulker supplies and maybe check in with Davos, or even maybe some sort of ministry here that may or may not know about the area's happenings of
Alright, well,
disappearances.
since Flint is like a detective at heart, I think he would probably stay in the tavern and gather as much information about these missing people as he could, considering that taverns are usually the best place to get that sort of information.
Okay, might be a dumb idea, but I have an idea.
God damn it.
go to like the magistrate here and say like, hey, we're friends of Inquisitor Davos back in fucking town that I will eventually remember the name of.
Yak's Bend.
No,
Croydon.
that's not right. Yaxbund. Yaxbund is where we started.
We're friends of Inquisitor Davos from Croydon, and we are investigating the disappearances. Can you help us get like deputy badges or something that says we're not fuckheads, so that people trust us a little bit?
I mean, they definitely won't give us titles or badges, but they might give us something.
I mean,
or
I'm just
maybe
thinking
at
that if we had something that we could show to be like, hey, we're good people and we're aligned with a better interest as opposed to just some schmucks, it would probably make the whole process a lot easier.
That's true, but you have to remember that.
Not a Genron badge?
You have to remember that Flint's background is basically in investigating, and he's never had a badge. You know what I mean? He doesn't. He can do it without one.
That sounds cool. I don't know how to do that.
Well, the least we
Well, I
can
guess it's
do
up to
is
Connor.
go
It's
to
up
the
to the dice,
magistrate and
really.
ask about the information, right? If anything, we could just ask Davos to vouch for us
we
here,
also have
but-
some null tongues to turn in.
Indeed, you do.
So why don't we do this? Why don't you guys go talk to the magistrate? Mostly because you guys are more familiar with Davos than I am.
Okay.
And I'll stay here and try to get some information. And I won't leave until I see you guys again. That way you know exactly where I am.
In that case, Skulker, did you just want to go ahead and look for your supplies?
I mean, I could. I don't know about splitting up that much, and I don't know, I have a small knack for investigating as well, I would think.
Well, depends what
If
you
Flint
want to do.
isn't super... Oh, wait, no, I don't have a knack for investigation. Ignore me.
So, do the old men want to stay at home and the young ones go out?
What do you want to do?
But why don't you take Skulker so that you guys can buy supplies while you're out?
Okay, so the three of us will go out and then you're going to stay at home.
Yeah.
What, are we babysitting me now? Yeah, let's go.
We're
Alright,
not babysitting you.
Lucas roll d20 and Nika roll d20.
This is gonna go well.
I think Connor did odds or evens. I don't think he was, or maybe high or low.
No, just to see who's going first.
Well, I got that much, but like, that's still the point of like the fact that it's an 8. I'm afraid that that's gonna be my rolls for the rest of the day. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So, Flint, your companions leave. You sit there for about an hour. Elf ears perked.
Wait, can I go get a drink at the bar? It's much easier to gains people's initial trust if I'm drinking as well as they are.
Try
So
the
you're
honey
having like,
wheat.
a seat at the bar?
What'd you say? Sorry, Josh was talking.
So you're having like a seat at the bar?
Oh yes, I'm having a seat at the bar.
Okay. Word. Henry sees, like, the barmaid clears your plates a little while after everyone leaves, and then you step on up and sit down. He says, out and out with your friends?
Nah, they got some business that they need to attend to. And I don't really have to go with them. I'd much rather sit down, relax, and get a drink from you if I could.
Surely. What are you looking for?
You don't want to spend money, all the lower
got
tier
me.
drinks are free.
You got any dark dwarven ale?
Why, yes. Included in the stay. It's one of the lower tier. And you see he heads over to a cask next to where he got the honey ale from and begins pouring from the tap. And, fills a tankard up nice and big, puts it down on the bar top in front of you. Says, enjoy.
And Flint flourishes his brim and says, "Wait, what race? You said human.jpg, or is that the okay?"
They're both humans.
Flint goes, "Well, thank you kindly, sir. I very much appreciate it."
No, you're welcome. You don't mind me asking, where is that accent of yours from? Can't say I've ever heard it.
That's a funny story, actually. You wouldn't believe it if I told you.
He looks around, and you see that, like, everyone's either got their food or their drink, and, like, he is standing in front of a row of, like, clean tankards, and he just kind of shrugs and says, I got time.
Let me ask you a question. If you had to guess my age, how old would you think I am?
He kind of, like... Well, gee, I don't know. Maybe 50 question mark? He seems unsure of his answer. He can't really... Your brim is, like, wide. He hasn't picked up on your ears yet.
So, Flint kind of gives, like, a deep belly laugh, like, you're off by about 170 years, my friend.
You see his jaw just, like, drops.
You're negative 120?
So Flint, like, raises his tankard and goes to take a drink, like I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, let me tell you a story. Right around my 100th birthday, I had to make a choice. I could either stay with my family, or I could go out and see the world for myself. And I didn't very much enjoy being around my family, so I decided to go out and make a name for myself. Well, it just so happens that I met a girl. And if you'd believe it, I met a dwarf girl. And she was the love of my life. And eventually, after a couple of years of talking and getting to know one another, I moved in with her and her family to help her father with his experimentation. And I lived with them for about 80 years. And he was a dwarf, you see. And his family had this accent, this common accent. So my dwarvish sounds pretty perfect. However, my common sounds like this.
Well, damn. So it sounds like you've been pretty far.
Yeah, I guess you could say something like that. I'm a bit of a traveler myself.
It's at this point where you see two, like, guardsmen, or you can tell by their uniforms that they're associated with the town guard. They enter the tavern and they take 2 seats at the bar. They're like, they left a gap, so they're not, like, elbow to elbow with you, but they're pretty close to you. And he says, like, excuse me, Flint. And he says, gentlemen, the usual? And they say, yes, please. And they're like, yes, thank you, Henry. Like, 2 of them, so they each give their response. And they each flip him, like, a little bit of copper coins. He pours them each a tankard of the same thing you're drinking. And he drops it on the countertop in front of him and says, enjoy. He kind of goes into the back.
What race are these guys, Connor?
They're both humans.
Okay. Flint actually wouldn't say anything to them. He would let them talk, and he would just be listening.
Mm-hmm. So you hear them, they started back and forth about, like, one guy's like, my fucking wife, pain in my ass, like, X, Y, and Z.
Boomerhumor.deck.
Yeah, pretty much. They draw a comic on the bar top. One of the guys has a big nose. Phones are bad, lol. So they start just shooting the shit, and one guy says to the other, so how was your shift last night? The other guy turns to him and says, how the fuck do you think? We've been doing doubles since people started going missing like 3 days ago. I am tired. I got a baby at home. So, he goes, like, clears his tankard, slams down. He's like, this is the only time I get to be at peace in my life. right here. Well, shit. I hear you. It's not much easier up on the wall. They got us doing doubles too. Out of pure curiosity, because I could ad-lib this conversation for the next 3 hours if I had to.
Yeah.
At what point would you what would it take for you to interject?
For Henry to come back, them order another drink, and me offer to pay for them.
Alright. So a little over 5 minutes goes by, and Henry finally comes back out, and they say, Henry, another round, please. And they're handing their goblets, or their tankards, excuse me.
Flynn perks up and goes, "Hey, Henry, why don't you put those on me?"
And they both look over at you, and it's well, thank you, stranger. It's very nice of you.
Don't mention it. I know that your jobs are hard enough. Especially you with the baby at home. You don't need to be spending your money here. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about that. You're doing a very important job, and I appreciate all the work that you guys put forth.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. You see, they both kind of you know how when someone keeps their body language closed, so to speak, if they're not interested in talking to you, you see by the way that they both adjust in their chairs that they both kind of sit so that they're facing you with a more open body language. So you can see that they're clearly intrigued by having this conversation with you that's beginning to form.
Word. And Flint has refined his ability to not only, I guess, read body language, but also how his own body language influences conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wasn't ever closed, but he doesn't do anything differently when he sees that. He just remains the same.
Mm-hmm. Kind of catty cornered in the chair.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of he's probably leaning over the bar, and he's kind of passing his goblet in between his hands, maybe 4 or 5 inches apart, slowly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when he talks to them, he looks over to his left, and he talks to them, but he's not open yet. He's kind of just still sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to give too much away yet.
So Henry sets a goblet down in front of each of you. They say, "Well, a toast to our new friend here." And they turn and say, "What's your name?"
And Flint takes his goblet, and he kind of sits up in his chair, and he turns over to the left to see them, and he raises and goes, "My name's Flint, and yo."
Hold on just a sec. Brian and William are their names respectively.
And then Flint goes to clink his goblet with theirs and goes, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Brian, William." And as he says their names, he makes sure to look them in the eye so that he remembers who they are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that genuine personable type shit.
Exactly.
Alright. You see Henry kind of floating around not asking you for coin, but kind of just making idle busyness near you. Cleaning the same tankard that he's cleaned already.
Oh yeah. And Flint, without even I don't know, I guess this is IRL, has a server and stuff. I don't really like flourishing when I give someone a tip, because I don't want to make it seem oh, Mr. Big Shot or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So while he's conversing with Brian and William, he kind of just subtly goes into his jacket pocket and takes a silver and just slides it over to Henry. Doesn't say anything.
You see Henry's eyes light up, and he can tell by the way you're sliding it that you're not trying to make a big deal out of it. So you just hear him quietly say, "Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you." Just a hushed but earnest expression of gratitude.
And I imagine that when he takes it, he stops. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but he stops shining his goblet, and he walks back into the kitchen. But in order to do that, he'd have to pass my peripheral vision. And so as he walks past me, I would just give him a slight nod, just so he knows that I heard him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he makes his way to the other end of the bar. Starts, organizing things, dusting, usual stuff. So, William and Brian, they start talking to you and they say, "So I take it you're from out of town."
And Flint like takes his tankard and like puts it up to his lips, going to take a sip, and like as he hears him say that, he's like taking a sip and he like nods his head in like that way where it's like you nod your head like you're like not only agreeing with what they said, but you're also nodding in kind of like a good job, like that was the right question to ask. You know how that happens sometimes where
Yeah.
you'll be like talking and like the person that you're talking to inferred something about or from what you said, which skips like 3 or 4 like conversation pieces. You know what I mean? Like you kind of just
Yeah.
that's he's like doing that now where he's like, yeah, like good question.
Yo, A+ for using inferred correctly. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so like he puts the gobble back down and he goes, "That's a great observation. You would be correct." He's like, he goes, I mostly wandered around the outer cities, or rather the outer towns. I don't know if you could classify them as cities.
Yeah. It's they kind of ride that line. Big enough where they're not shitholes, but large enough where they're not metropolises. Metropoli. I don't even know. Also, I'm sure they would have had a more eloquent way of saying that.
Would they though? Because they're just city guards.
I don't know. Maybe not shitholes. Dirt holes. I don't know.
I feel like that's good vernacular for a city. Like I'm just imagining like a uniformed cop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They vote red. The usual. No, I'm just kidding. Well, you were out on the road the last few days, I guess. Did you happen to see anything suspicious while you were out on the road in that time?
So, Flint's nature is to be cautious, right? He doesn't want to give too much information away, because if anyone knows really anything, money and time and status is not nearly as important as information, right? You could be the lowest of the low, but if you know something that's detrimental to another high-profile human being that no one else knows, you could pull a lot from that, or that could keep you alive for a lot longer than you should have been, right? So Flint will just, he'll say, he'll put his gobble back down, and he'll go, "No, not really. Nothing out of the ordinary that I can tell." Why? Why do you ask? Sounds like, he almost sounded like you expected something to happen.
No, I mean, it's the weirdest shit. And then, like, the other guy picks up where this other guy left off with that sentence. All these people went missing, but no one has seen anything out of the ordinary. It was really weird. And just the following morning, we start getting reports of, like, missing persons. And then by the end of the day, and after a couple letters go back and forth between towns and such, we realize we have a much bigger problem on our hands. Happened right under our nose. No one's sure how it happened. So Flint, the most out of the ordinary thing I saw on that day was a cart from Whisper Wind's Winery leaving at night. Which is odd. So they usually only travel by day. I mean, a couple armed guards with them. But other than that was the most unordinary thing I saw that day. Quite possibly one of the most average days I've had apart from that.
So Flint kind of grunts and takes another swig of his beer. And says, Wait a minute, you said that there have been disappearances there? How many of them have there been?
From Fort Ranik? 8.
8.
Yeah.
How
That we're aware
far?
of.
How long in between each disappearance?
They all went on that same night. Different reports. None of them were any older than 30. Different reports of people being out doing various things. Either hopping between taverns or running some last minute errands to some of the shops that are open late.
Hmm.
Vanished
That's very interesting.
into thin air.
Let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
Did any of those disappearances happen near the winery?
The winery actually doesn't have a populace associated with it. It has like workers that live there, but it's actually its own plot of land, sprawling vineyards for like several miles surrounding it. It's a very huge winery. So there's like a decent sized group of people that, well, I said miles. I should have said like maybe like 2 miles square of just like straight up vineyards. Because that's miles plural is a lot of land to cover with grapes. So I misspoke. Sorry about that.
Connor?
Yeah.
If I were to, would it be possible? Would anybody in this inn, maybe the bartender, would they have a map of the town?
Of Fort Ranik?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the surrounding area?
Yeah. One of the guards has one.
So, okay, Flint says, huh, that's very interesting indeed. And I got a favor to ask you too. I'm a bit of a, I enjoy detective work as a little side hobby. And, I was wondering, if one of you had a map, do you think that you could plot out where the disappearances happened?
Might need to go to Central Command for that kind of thing. I don't know if we have the information capable of facilitating that request.
Well, let me ask you another question. If do you have enough information to give me at least 1 or 2 locations?
Sure.
Do you think I could just think you can just plot those, the ones that you know, out for me? I'm just curious, you know.
Yeah, of course. Now they've got like a drink in them also, and well, 2 drinks in them. You've been pleasant conversation so far. They're like quick to open up to you. So the only 3 that they know of, one was over by Murray's and the taxidermist where you were last night. One was on the other side of town, and the other was actually just like under the last place this last person was seen was by the northern wall of Fort Ranik.
Connor,
one thing you do notice about these 3 locations in particular is that they're on the periphery of town, like towards the outer edge, not really in the center.
And so where is the vineyard?
Pull up Kingdom map for a second. Oh wait, we're on it. I just have to bring myself there. It is F. Down here.
But you said one was over by the taxidermy, one was at the other side of town, and where was the third?
Along the northern wall. Like
the winery's all the way the fuck down there.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. Wait, so Connor, this winery cart was leaving the city or coming into the city?
Leaving the city.
Leaving.
After sunset. It's very odd.
So where does the winery take the wine in the city?
Different taverns and such.
Huh.
But the cart was leaving the winery late at night?
No, it was leaving
Fort
Ranik.
Fort Ranik late at night. I mean, had a couple burly looking guys with them. Clearly they had some muscle to be traveling the roads. I don't know.
Alright, so Flint looks at the map. And he asks, "Hey, if I gave you a copper, or if I gave you a silver, do you think I could have?"
They turn to each other and they just start laughing. Say, "Fucking take it, man. We can just get another one when we clock in."
Let me add it to my inventory real quick. Map of forts. Is it Rannik?
One N. And on this note, we'll pan over to the rest of our party members, if that is okay with you.
Yeah, dude, go ahead. I'm glad. Like, I was surprised that you gave me this long.
I wasn't sure if there were any other questions specifically that you had for them.
I mean, I have more, but I can wait until it comes back to me.
Okay. So we find ourselves. Camera pans down from the beautiful blue sky to the front of the Sleeping Bear Tavern. The Sleeping Bear, excuse me. Just the Sleeping Bear, not like the Sleeping Bear X. You have a shot. Kiri, Darrow, Skulker, Anzu in wolf form. They step out of the front door and they realize they don't know where the magistrate is. Over their shoulder, we see their plates getting cleared, and Flint moseys on up to the bar.
I would probably just ask a stranger on the street, just like come to the first person adultish that I see and or guard if there is one, and just be like, "Excuse me, do you know where the magistrate's office is, maybe?"
So the first person you come across is like an elderly human woman. Not as old as the fucking taxidermist, because that guy is basically a corpse, but like in like her like mid-60s. And you ask her, "Oh, excuse me, where's the magistrate?" And she just smiles and points to like a big stone building on the other side of the square.
She would give a small giggle and like bow her head and say thank you.
You're very welcome. Have a nice day.
Part of me was wishing she would be like a crazy old crone and just be like, "I am the magistrate!"
I am the Senate. So it's a big stone building. The closer you get to it, you see now that there are kind of like, they were just red banners from where you were on either side of the door, maybe about a foot wide and 3 feet long. So tough to pick up from across the town square. But now that you're getting closer to the building, you can see that there is like the symbol of the royal family like embroidered on these things. There's no one like, it is like double doors. You see a guard walk in. A minute later, a guard walks out. No one's like at the door bouncing.
I guess like with a little bit of a hesitation, I think it would just like straight up walk in the front door. I expect there to be like a desk, someone to talk to.
Mm-hmm. So there's a small foyer. You see a wood elf, clad in like chainmail, sitting at the desk, and he is just very intently watching the door. Like there are stacks of paper in front of him, fairly large at that, and there is a paper and quill, but he just seems to be outright ignoring them and just watching the door. So the second you come in, you're making eye contact with this guy. He gives you a small smile. He doesn't say anything though. He's just kind of studying you.
Hello. I've
Nods.
come to collect on a bounty for Knoll Tongues. Are you honoring that?
He nods again.
Yes. I'll go forward and produce the Knoll Tongues I think we already kind of added the silver to our inventory, so it's just going to be a zero cost exchange essentially.
Yeah. So
I think we had like what 15 of them.
24 if I'm not mistaken. So
You
6
are
silver
not.
for each of you.
Yep.
Can we not what?
No, you are not. You're not mistaken. It was 24.
How I?
Because you were
Just
so
old
excited.
noggin.
It happened to be divisible by 4.
I'd like to think that I'm not calculating, but it was actually just like I kept putting tokens on the board and then I counted them and they were all dead. I'm like, oh, look at that. So, anyway, the dude like brings you over to like a side table away from all the papers for you to set the tongues down on. He like studies them all as you're pulling them out. He nods again. He hasn't said a word to you this entire time. He just holds up a finger, walks into a door behind him, and comes back out with 24 silver coins, which he hands to you.
Very nice.
He nods again.
So we also came here with interest on the oddities that have been happening over the last 3 days.
Shovels.
disappearances.
Oh, right. Yes, the disappearances.
Yeah. The shovel comes later. Don't worry. We won't forget that.
He raises an eyebrow towards Geralt of Rivia.
Is there any kind of a bounty that's out on maybe someone who's associated with these disappearances? Do you have any leads? Is there anything going on? We're interested in helping. I have no idea why any of this is happening.
So he actually like opens his mouth to speak with you, and he says, "Well, the Ascalon military greatly appreciates your service. However, who are you?"
We
Yes, like kind of
are
incredulously.
friends, associates of Inquisitor Davos. He has been using our services to take care of problems in Croydon as of late. We had some fairly successful ventures into the Underdark to take care of fiendish problems. New owners of the Dragon's Rest castle.
Keep.
You don't say. I'm sure
Yeah, we
you
don't really have a
if I
good
asked to see
name
the
to go by yet. I just kind of need to describe what it is that we've done. I'm
It's a
working
keep.
on that, by the way.
It's just a keep.
I'm sure you'd understand if I asked to see the deed.
Yeah, Carrie, who has that?
I think it's you.
Do I have
The medallion?
that? Oh.
Bag of
Seems
holding.
like a bag of holding type item.
I'll open the bag of holding and reach into the bag of holding and think of the deed. Let's see if it comes out. Let me open the
Voila.
bag of holding.
One deed.
I do. I have the deed. Ah, yeah, here. Just show it to him.
He like takes it from your hands and he like studies it. He says, "One moment, please." And walks into the same door he just walked into. You are
Like
now
face
toothless.
first into a door, or like did he walk
Like
through the doorway?
walks through the doorway into the room that is behind the same path he took to get the silver for you guys.
Don't we have
Oh,
something
okay, word.
else?
Did he take the deed with him?
Yes, he did.
I am
Don't we
eyeing
have
the fuck out of that guy.
What'd you say, Ika?
we had a writ of favor as well from the royal family. I don't know if we still have that somewhere.
I think Scatha has it.
Scatha took that.
Shit.
Yep.
Good old dad fucking us in life and death. Just kidding.
So,
Okay, well we have to
realizing this dude has the deed to your house makes these 7 minutes that pass incredibly uncomfortable. But eventually he comes back out, hands it back to you. It remains untarnished. Gives you a small nod, Says,
Can I
Very well.
inspect it to see if it has the same inconsistencies as it had before? Is this a copy?
sure, roll me investigation. Anyone who's looking at the deed.
They got it. I don't need to be looking at this.
I'm out.
This is the same thing. You can still
Okay,
see the smudge where Skulker signed his name and then dipped his hand in the ink by accident.
You mean where Lulu dipped her paw?
Yes. Would have been an impressive replication.
Gotcha.
He says, very well. I believe you are who you say you are. How would you like to help this investigation?
Well, any and all information that might have been assembled would be useful. Our intentions, as you can see, were very good at hunting and tackling problems of with a violent implication. And we have a unique skill set on infiltration and basically making things just kind of stop being bad.
And
He kind of raises an eyebrow. Infiltration. Mm-hmm. He kind of just looks around the room and then looks back to you. Very well. We keep records.
Skulker, do you have things that I said that I didn't say?
nah, that's okay. We'll keep some tricks up our sleeves.
Cool. You were saying, good sir.
We keep records of all the merchants that enter and leave our town. It's a rather lackluster way of aiding the investigation, to say the least. However, maybe your eyes will gather something ours haven't.
Do you have any reason to believe that merchants may be involved in disappearances?
Well, assuming all these people went missing, well, looking at what we know, and you see now that this can't be answered with just nods and shakes of the head, he's actually opening up now. He's like, it wouldn't be unreasonable to assume that all of these people were taken by the same organization. That being said, it would have been a lot easier, had you the means, to sneak 8 people out in one go instead of sneaking 8 people out in 8 goes. Less chances for something to go wrong. Understand? So,
And what you're referring to with the records is that anyone who enters or leaves, there's a note of it.
We can sneak 8 people out in one go!
What?
Hearthstone! I wouldn't say this out loud, I'm sorry, just...
Skulker has a distinct shift in posture standing beside you, but nothing to accompany it, so who knows what he's up to. But, so the guy you're talking to says, well, people entering on foot don't necessarily get cataloged in the same way. They are subject to questioning by the guards. If they're deemed fit for entry, they're allowed. However, anyone with any kind of cart or goods for sale needs to be cataloged. It is policy. So, presumably, 8 people were smuggled out this... I mean, nothing is known for sure. We're still gathering intel all over the kingdom, and we don't have very much to go on.
One thing I think I heard you say was that these all happened in one night.
That is correct.
I was thinking that under the assumption that this was a rolling disappearance and not a flash disappearance.
No, there have not been any disappearances since.
Do we know if they actually happened all at the same time or they just were generally in the same night?
Well, we can't be certain if they were all at the exact same time because most of the people who are missing didn't have their exact moment-to-moment whereabouts cataloged. It was, more often than not, someone left somewhere else and didn't arrive where they were supposed to be. All of the disappearances took place after sunset 3 days ago. So 2 days ago, guards woke up to an influx of missing persons reports all over the kingdom. Today is the first full day where we are aware of the crisis that's going on. So we're still trying to get up to speed with what's happening.
Okay. Yeah, if you would like to allow us to have access to those records, we could do our best to scan over them and see if we can pick out a pattern or an oddity that might have been missed, I suppose.
Very well. Our Inquisitor is out currently on business. He has not had a chance to pore over the records, and only the scribe in charge of writing them down has seen them. So you will be the first group to take a crack at this. Any conclusions you come to, regardless of how insignificant you might think they are, please bring to our attention.
Certainly.
Very well then. He leads you out a different door. This one on the opposite side of the room from the one he kept going back into. Leads you down a small stone hallway. You see a couple doors that you walk past. They're all closed. Sconces on the walls with lit torches in them. The room he brings you into is a small, cluttered room full of bookshelves, and they're all these like same bland brown leather bound books with just simple scribing on the front, dating with just dates. And these are record books. There's one on the table currently and has like some papers and other books cleared out, and there's a small space around this one book, and he says, "This is everything from the last week." He points to the
Thank
stack
God.
to the
I
left.
thought you were going to say that all of this was from the last weeks. It's just that one, right?
No, I'm not that much of a dickhead.
Okay.
Not yet.
Oh no, there will come a time, but it's just not now. So he points to the stack to the left. He says, "These books are everything going back to about 2 months ago."
And this is just the martial records?
Yes, that is correct.
Do you, and this might be allowed to ask, have a list of the people who have disappeared?
We do. Give me just a second. He like walks down the hall, gone for 5 minutes, comes back with a single piece of parchment. You can tell the ink is still wet. This list was just written down. These are the people that are missing from Fort Ranik and the surrounding farms.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You see Jessica is mentioned on there.
Gotcha. Is it just names, or is it like names and descriptions?
Names and descriptions.
Okay.
You do see like ages written down.
What about location?
People are over 30. There's 2 dwarves, wood elf, and 5 humans missing.
What? I said, what about location?
Oh, I didn't hear that you said that.
They're all from this
location?
Fort Ranik.
Parts of the city, but none of them close to the center. Or their last known whereabouts.
So I'll sit. As soon as he walked out the room, I was gonna sit down at the table and flip open the book, and basically do my best to try to get a feeling of pattern recognition. You know, like I'm not necessarily making sense of every word and every line on what's going on the page, but like just flipping through the pages. Oh, okay, it looks like this business is here every Wednesday, and oh, it looks like these guys come here every Tuesday. It looks like these guys come twice a week. Just go through the pages and be like, okay, this is what happened last week, this is what happened this week.
Mm-hmm. So, roll me an investigation check. Anyone who's studying the book with Darrow.
I would be looking at the list and looking at any patterns. If I have a...
Shit!
I was gonna. Is there any way I could assist? Like, I'm not investigating, but I'm like pre-sorting things or glossing things over to give a summary before they get into it, or to give him to help him instead of actually investigating.
So,
Like, what I meant.
asking if you can give him advantage on the check.
Yes, help.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
You can also roll me one, but you're looking at different material. Okay.
Right, so I'd like to think that Skulker, like as I'm flipping through it, I'm just like, I'm not seeing anything. It's like, but didn't you fucking see the mead cart? It's like, what do you mean? The mead cart. It's here every Tuesday. I was like, oh, yeah, I do see that one. And then
but the
that's
Tuesday
the
in
link.
question, it had different people pulling it. That mead cart never has different people pulling it.
Kira, you can also roll me one if you would like for what you're looking at.
I'm looking at the list of disappearances, and I'm guessing does the list of disappearances have like where their last known whereabouts? I assume that's information that's there. Should I be assuming?
However, some of them are very vague.
Okay. Do I have a general map that I can plot these on? Or may I ask for a map?
You may ask Wood Elf-san, and he'll provide you.
Wood
I don't know
Elf-san,
if we
do we
have
have
a
a
proper
map
or if we just have meta map.
of this town?
You have Kingdom Map, but City Map is not in possession.
Word.
I would ask Wolf-san if I have.
What if we just?
I have a map of the city. If I may have a map of the city.
He nods, returns after a minute, holding a map. Low quality, but you can assume this is something they would hand out en masse to like guards and things like that.
May I plot the points that people have disappeared in, generally speaking?
Surely. So only 5 of those 8 have 5 of those 8 have exact last known whereabouts. So there are 3 unknowns. All 3 of the unknowns are humans. The remainder of the people who do have their last known whereabouts accounted for were all on the periphery of town. So no one went missing anywhere near the town square, which, having seen the town last night, is by and far the most like well-lit area of Fort Ranik at night.
Okay, so it makes it look like genuine disappearances and not like some weird magic shit.
Yeah, apart from that, you don't really gain any information that you didn't already know.
Okay.
All the people, they're mixed races, but they're all younger. They're all less 30 or under. Even the non-human races are still very young for their lifespans. Gender also does not seem to be an issue. So race is an issue, gender isn't an issue, age is the only thing that really seems to matter.
Connor, like the races that have like longer lifespan than humans, they're like relatively the same age as the humans that are going missing. That's what you're saying?
Yes. No, like they'll still reach maturity around. Like it's not like a 20-year-old elf is still like.
No, relatively.
So like, yeah,
like an elf who's 200 years old is relatively 20 years old to a human.
Yeah, but even these elves that went missing were like 20-something years old.
Wait, like actually 20-something years? So they were like babies.
Yes. Like
they were juvenile.
They still reach maturity in the same time frame as humans do. So like an 18-year-old human and an 18-year-old elf still like.
Wait, are you sure, Connor? I'm pretty sure that's half elves. I'm pretty sure elves reach maturity at 100 years old. I could be wrong though. I probably am.
These niggas were juvenile.
What? What did you just say?
I don't think. Give me just a sec.
I'm looking it up too.
Elves reach physical maturity at about the same rate as humans. The elven
Oh.
understanding of adulthood goes beyond physical growth and encompasses worldly experience. An elf typically claims adulthood and an adult name around the age of 100 and can live to be 750.
Okay. Physical maturity. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. So even the longer lived races are still very young for their lifespans. You notice there weren't any outright children missing, though. It seems like the key here is between 15 and 30 are these ages that were taken.
Young adults.
Yes, precisely. Darrow,
Yes.
with your aided investigation check, and Skulker points out the mead cart to you, and it all kind of just clicks for a second. You flip forward a couple pages, you read the data from that night, you flip back a couple pages, and just to be sure, you scan the same set of pages a couple different times. You realize something. There's an outgoing cart for Wizard of Wine's winery that was never listed as coming in after dusk on the evening of 3 days ago. Or excuse me, Whisper of Winds winery, not Wizard of Wine.
Oh, Wizard of Wines. Whisper of Winds.
Yeah, my bad. That's the Strahd habit.
Was Wizards of Wines, was that Strahd?
Yes. Shamelessly stole the double W naming scheme.
I mean, it was pretty dope.
I like it. Yeah, the Whisper of Winds. It's also right on the riverbank, so I feel like, I don't know, works.
There was one going out, but never one going in.
The same one that went out never came in.
Maybe they got ambushed. We should see if they're okay.
No, don't you see, Skulker? This is a fake cart.
What do you mean it's a fake cart? Like it's magical?
No.
There was no cart?
Yeah,
it was an illusion?
The winery never made a delivery. They just left. So somebody took a random ass cart from the town and left saying they were the Whisper of Winds winery.
Or they were the Whispering Winds winery.
Well, they could have just said they were the Whispering Winds winery. They didn't necessarily need to prove that they were the ones who came and made the delivery, because it looks like they never came and made a delivery.
And I'm
They
saying
just
maybe Whispering Winds is in on it. That's all I'm saying.
Right. They're either in on it, or somebody knows somebody there that they know them well enough to be able to use their name.
Should we go investigate Whispering Winds or go find this cart?
Well, I thought that might be one and the same. But
I mean, I think it
the cart
definitely
never
would
came
be
back. The cart's not
harder.
going to be there.
Well, I think it'd definitely be much harder to track down a cart without having preliminary information.
right. I mean, I don't know from my time involved if the Whispering Winds is a front or if it's a hub
Kiri, you're a
for
ranger.
syndicate activity, but there are people there that are involved, so they might be inside man in the Whispering Winds winery, but they aren't necessarily a front.
I'm gonna climb a
Kiri,
tree
can't
and be
you
like,
just declare mead carts to be your favorite enemy, and we just go track that shit?
I already have a favorite enemy, and it's humanoid. And by the way, I have to know my target before I can track it, so I would have to have seen my target.
We know our target. It's right here on this piece of paper, denoted by, words. Good enough.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, well, let's go. Let's go do the Darrow thing suggested.
Maybe we should
Well,
check
I think
with
I would like to
Lynn
ask the man who was helping us.
first.
So
Sam.
I think we might have found something, but before I say so, I have one question. How does someone prove they are who they say they are when they're coming or going?
Usually just by the wares. It's not like businesses have badges.
So, like, would their cart be painted with it, or they would just say,
Something like that would do. Probably having a bunch of like casks of wine on it also. Just barrels in general.
casks of wine. Skulker, you're very intimate with casks of wine and casks of alcohol and whatnot. Could you fit a child in one?
Not a child, a young adult.
A young adult. Thank you, Kiri. A young adult.
Do they have to be alive when I pull them out? I mean, yes. Either way, yes.
Sir, I think we have a hunch.
He raises an eyebrow and gives like a slight smile. You can tell he's kind of surprised, but he is, what's it called? He's intrigued with what you have to say. He nods, as if to say, like, go on.
There is a cart listed in the registry that is claiming to be from the Whispering Winds Winery that never entered the city, but it left the city
And when did it leave the city?
the night of the occurrence.
Interesting.
So the
Can
hunch.
you please show me in the book?
Yes. I
So
looked
I'm
at
sure.
this one. Like, I brought him the book. Like, I walked out of the room. I was just like, we got something. We got it.
Words. Okay.
Side sentence with Kiri. Kiri, I just want to note that if I had pointed out the winery, you'd all just say, Skulker just wants to go to a winery. Just saying.
Why
Double
is this on
standards.
me?
'Cause
Why am
Daryl
I
left.
public enemy?
No. It's just idle chat because Darrow went off to ask him the
I
question.
mean, would I be
No
wrong
birds
though?
and a disdain
Would
for
I be
alcoholics.
wrong? Would I be wrong though, Skulker?
Wine's not really my thing, so yes.
I mean, no taken.
Okay. So, the wolf, like, graciously accepts. This is very interesting. Just a moment, please. He goes back into the same room where he brought the deed and like got the silver from and such with the book. He returns not holding the book, but he's holding a small pouch. He hands it to you, Darrow. He says, "This is 60 silver as a thank you from the magistrate for your efforts. We believe this information will be very useful. We thank you for your time."
Well, we gotta do something about it, right? Well, okay, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take the pouch and then. But we still gotta do something about this, right? Like, are we gonna go after him?
Well, I'm sure you're at least slightly familiar with how anything bureaucratic works. This is the elf talking to you.
Right.
If you would like to set off for it on your own, I cannot stop you. I can wish you good luck. But if you're looking for any aid from this organization or the Ascalon military at large, you would have to wait.
Can we at least get either your word or someone's word that by going after this, we won't be in conspiracy of obstructing the kingdom's investigations, that we are in fact operating on the behalf of them, or if not on the behalf, at least not operating against them. I don't want us to be targeted wrongfully as obstructing the affairs.
He kind of shrugs and says, "I don't know if I'm qualified to give you that kind of green light. I think it all just depends on what the result of your
I think we might have to
investigation is."
message Davos.
He
Yeah,
kind of winks and just says, like, "Just don't fuck up."
We're just gonna go sample some wine. Nothing out of the ordinary.
He smiles and nods.
Well, thank you. We have things that must be done. All right,
Nods again.
Skulker, Kiri, we've got a mission.
I would definitely go check on Flint first. See if he got anything.
No, our mission is
No,
we find a shovel, and I walk out the front door.
Oh,
Thank you!
dear.
We do have 2 missions. He gets it.
if you would like to go check on Flint, he is right across the street there. I would not stop you from doing it.
Flint is closer than the shovel, probably. Just... Well, like, she trails behind him. She trails behind him as they're, like, stomping out the front door.
Darrow has his freaking Sherlock Holmes hat on.
For the shovel, not the disappearances, for the shovel.
Well, all of them.
Have any of you guys seen The Mechanism on the Netflix?
No. Should I?
Okay, I didn't think so. Shot in the Dark. It was an overly dramatized version of some cop detectives unwinding the conspiracy that was, like, all of Brazil. Like, the thing that actually happened with Petro Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like that. Like all the looking through tons and tons of papers and just trying to connect these dots and like do the accounting of like, wait, I see how these numbers are flowing. There's this is missing.
Sure.
It's exactly that show. What's up, Lucas?
I was just gonna say,
He was gonna say silence. Nice.
He died.
Yeah, I think he got
Luke?
healed.
Lucas John.
Yeah, it's not just you. He just dipped out. Or maybe he's taking a really, really long dramatic pause.
He'll be back. Let's continue to operate so we don't lose too much time.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, I guess we'll just go back to the inn. It's probably the smart thing to do. Darrow will probably listen to Kiri, because that generally turns out as being good ideas.
So we're going
So
to
you
Flipper?
see,
What?
you guys were gone for about over an hour, but not 2 hours. And you see Flint, like, as you're
Hello?
walking in.
Hi.
Yo!
alright, that was weird. It, like, stopped working. But what I was gonna say is, like, this is like Charlie trying to find Pepe Sylvia. So if anyone knows that reference.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's
Sorry?
he's all over the mailroom with string going back and forth and across it. Who is Pepe Sylvia?
Yeah,
There
he's
is
like
no
smoking
Pepe.
cigarettes. Dude, I love that episode.
There's letters that come in, but no go out. They're all for Pepe, but they're not for Pepe. Pepe is not here.
Dude, people think that word is Pennsylvania, and he.
I think
Oh.
I think Discord's doing some shit.
Gotta love it, Discord. Being
Why?
inconsistent.
Can you not hear me, Ega?
No, it just stopped, like, all sound for a few seconds.
Well, let's do our best to keep getting through it, and hopefully that doesn't just crap out and we're left in the middle of nowhere.
Alright, so sorry about the
So-
distraction. Where are we right now, Connor?
So
Here.
the party is walking in after being gone for a little over an hour, and it's like as your two guard friends, Brian and William, are leaving, and they like clap you on the back and like shake your hand, pleasure to meet you, thanks for drinks. And as they're walking out the door, the party walks back in.
And Flint looks over at the party and goes, "Ah, my friends. It's nice to see you again. I have some interesting news that I'd like to share with you."
Oh, us too. It's a cart.
Excuse me?
Well,
we
ended up
went
going
over
to the magistrates.
to the magistrate, and I looked through a book for a while, and Skulker helped, and we looked around, and then I found a pattern. The pattern was that there's a wine cart that wasn't actually a wine cart, but it left with kids in barrels.
Interesting.
Well, we don't really know whether that happened, but that's the idea. And we also know
But
that.
Kiri, here's the thing. If I thought the same thing, then we're probably right. I don't believe in coincidence.
Did you have
Right.
something about a wine cart with
Um,
barrels? Did you find
And
that?
Flint just like holds up the map that has like all the 3 missing locations on it, and he's like, "I've been talking to the city guard for the last hour while you've been gone. He gave me this
Kiri
map
has
of
a map, too.
disappearances."
I got a list of all the disappearances from the magistrate as well. Mapped them all out, and it seems that all of them are on the outskirts of town. And like she shows them like map locations of all the disappearances. The only thing is I'm missing 3. They don't seem to have a specific last known whereabouts.
Flint looks at Kiri and says, "Hey Kiri, you think it'd be okay if I took a look at that map?"
Yeah, go ahead. She hands him the map.
Flint takes the map and puts it side by side with the one he has. Connor, what does he see?
The 3 that Kiri did not have locations for, you also do not have locations for. But other than that, 3 of the dots that you have line up with 3 of the dots that she has. So they didn't give you bullshit intel.
So Flint takes like a pen of some kind or his own blood, whatever he can use to mark some shit down, and he fucking fills in the other, I guess, 4 that he's missing. No, the other
2 that he's missing.
2. Yeah, the other 2 that he's missing. And then he rolls up, or he gives the map back to Kira and he says, "I would really like to take a look at these locations and see if I can find anything that might lead to the circumstances I wish they had been taken."
Well, yeah, what interests me the most is the 3 that don't have specific whereabouts. I think we
Connor,
should look more into the people who know where they have last been seen or where they were heading.
And then
Or
find the darkest point path between those 2 points.
why do you say darkest path, Skulker?
Because all of his kidnappings have happened away from light, and in case you don't remember, we've dealt with quite a few things that hurt us when there's no light in on them.
Oh, yeah.
Those
fuckers.
Yeah. Those
Yeah.
fuckers.
Oh yeah.
So
No one's
is
splitting up.
Kiri on that list?
Yes.
Was Jessica one of the ones that had a documented location or not?
Yes, she was.
Okay. So,
She's not undocumented, thank goodness.
okay.
Yo, Josh, you're like super soft. I don't know if that's just me or...
No, that was me just whispering.
Wait. Oh, his voice. I thought you were just
No, like I
calling
mean your
himself.
mic got a little bit quieter in general.
No, we're good,
There you go.
right?
Oh,
This is
Mhm.
good.
Are we
Yes.
though?
Yes, we're good.
Oh,
I think
then
he
I
was
guess
whispering or something.
it's just me? Question mark? 'Cause
We're good at a 3.
I can barely
Shut up.
hear him.
So, what is our next course of action?
So I know splitting up is like the wrong idea to do.
Well, is there a way that we can visit these locations and along the way stop by a general store so Skoker can go shopping?
Really?
Oh, and
I mean, I don't think we have too much of a heart. Like, we could probably split up during the day, but I don't want us to be split up when night falls. Because
I think
darkness
we
is
should,
the
if
danger.
we're gonna be here basically all day looking at all these things, we shouldn't be out at nightfall. We should try to get
Yeah.
back into the inn at nightfall, or at least back in the city square by nightfall. Also, speaking of spending all day outside, I either need to get up to the room to drop disguise and jump out the window, or get into an alleyway to drop disguise.
Bathroom, outhouse.
Your call.
Coulda done it in the records room.
Can you fit into a 5-foot cube? I can minor illusion an outhouse right here.
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
I mean,
But I don't want to do it inside here. I'll do it like out there.
Somewhere
Okay.
where there's not a lot of people, just in case he's.
Yes.
So, can you just say that I work creatively with Skulker and I figure out a way how to Superman out of being a Humie?
So you're reverting to tiefling form?
Yeah, because I don't want my
sure.
disguise to
There's
drop
plenty
in
of
like a
alleys
weird
and
ass
stuff.
way.
Plenty
But
of
I go
alleys.
back into incognito of hood up and face down and be unassuming.
Very well.
It was fun while it lasted.
So
is that
using
like
the
what the
5
plan is,
locations
guys?
that you have whereabouts on,
Yeah.
you can tell that they're all on the fringes of the city. A lot of them are near shops, places that would have been empty after the sun went down. There aren't many residences near where these people went missing, or not near any taverns. Places that would have been well lit and or busy after dark are not close to these places where the people were taken from.
Okay.
As far as the general store, Josh, would you like the roleplay interaction, or do you want to just do some math?
Let's do the math.
All right. So let's see. Go back to that message. What are you looking for specifically? Just as much as you can get of this list?
Yes, but the priority is 1, maybe 2 shovels if they're not like 2 fucking gold apiece. Shit, what was the second thing? A wood cutting axe.
A razor wire?
Yeah, well, I don't think it would be called razor wire in this era. I don't know. Like
baling wire.
Baling wire? What is that?
It's basically
for baling hay, right?
Cheap, thicker wire. It's kind of like, it's a little bit thinner than coat hanger wire.
It's like twine, right?
Right, yeah. It's kind of like metal twine.
Perfect.
Alright, so you can get the wood cutting axe, 2 shovels, and
2,000 feet.
2,000 feet.
Big oof. You know people need to make that shit by hand in this era, right?
Yeah.
As much of 2,000 feet as I can get.
500 feet. The twine is actually going to be the most costly part because it's the finest of these goods. So net cost, you're going to look at... Give me just a sec while I do math. $4 silver, 80 copper for the haul.
You sure you don't have more twine?
Positive. It's a limited stock item. It's a fine good. Like, you don't have 1,000 yards of silk? I do not, actually.
Okay.
Would you like the 4 silver, Skulker?
No. That is well below what I expected. Can I also get a carving knife? I mean, okay, would a dagger suffice as a carving knife? Like for carving points into wood?
Call it 5 silver even.
Done deal. Tell me when you get more twine.
Nods. Thank you, Geralt. We appreciate your business.
So is Geralt of Rivia like a canon character since everyone refers to him as Geralt?
Damn it, I had 69 silver, now I don't.
Nice. I just also can't help myself when it comes to calling him Geralt, so I have to kind of...
I appreciate it.
Keep myself...
He can only do it in meta.
Yeah. I try not to do it in character, but when I'm just metaing you, I will shamelessly call you Geralt. So, it is crested midday. It's approaching 1 in the afternoon. We've scouted our locations. We have acquired supplies. We've also gained some intel. How would you like to proceed?
I want to
sending Davos. Shit, I should have done that while Skulker was doing his bullshit.
I mean, I don't know. We can say this is while he's at the counter.
Right, well, I mean physically, so that I'm not sitting here counting words while y'all are just like, hey, so, how's the weather?
You guys like fishing?
I haven't been fishing since I was a kid. I can't answer that question.
Nah, I'm not too big on it.
But I would love to go camping. I miss having an open fire.
I too miss a little bit of fire.
That sounds like it's going somewhere completely different than camping. Or an actual fire.
Camping suffices. It's an itch. Just an itch I have to scratch.
Suffices? What do you mean?
Shh, 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 shh. Don't worry about it.
Because he's a pyro.
I mean, I'm a mini version of a pyro. I love playing with fire. I love running my fingers through fire. Oh.
Almost done.
Okay, because this is a very one-sided conversation.
That was like, I typed all that out. I was like, okay, how many? 24 words. Okay,
Yeah.
what can I do with the last one? You?
Verbally say HBU.
How's everyone else doing?
Also, when Darrow sends this message, he doesn't have the typical droll that he typically adopts. He was much more manic, like he was when he was retelling the story to Skulker. Not Skulker, Flint.
Aw, hear that, Flint? We're getting confused with each other.
I'll fucking kill you. No, I'm
Take
sorry.
compliments.
Also,
Also,
scratch the extra of that from there.
Cool. It's like, okay, so we're actually further along than Davos. He did no shit about the cart.
He's sifting through reports from like all over the kingdom, so he's got quite a lot on his plate currently.
Yep. But maybe the information we gave him would be useful, at least in his investigations.
Surely. Only time will tell.
Okay. So that's 1 3rd level spell. I'm not gonna send another message unless something super urgent happens tonight, but okay, y'all. So what do we learn? What's going on? I see you got a shovel. Good job.
I say we should look into the locations that we don't know. The 3 people that we don't know the missing locations of. We should use.
Well, what do you expect to learn from the ones that we don't know that we didn't learn from the ones that we do know?
I agree with Darrow. I think we should go investigate the locations that we do have.
Well, I think we did already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did.
And what we gathered is
Was that they were all around
all of
shops,
the areas
they wouldn't have been populated.
that were taken were shops that were not well lit, that were low population.
Wait, that's it? We couldn't like roll investigation to see if there was any more acute detail?
like scuff marks on the stone?
Yeah.
Blood splatter, signs of struggle, scuff marks
Exactly.
on stone.
Because I mean, if this is
traces that were
magical,
dropped.
this is
Yeah,
magical.
no.
They just got like instant transmission into a cage. It would be nothing.
But
It
there
would
was
just look
also
like they
like
weren't even
3
there.
days ago, so like technically any
But if
prints that
but
would
if
have
these are
been there would
places-
have been like walked over already.
but if these are places that aren't traveled much,
No, they're not traveled much at night. So like the point is
No,
that they were
what
all
I'm
like
saying-
shopping districts. Was like they're shopping districts at night. So but they're not like housing districts, so that
No,
they
but
wouldn't be very
Iga,
well lit.
Iga, if there's something obvious, like there's blood on the ground, or if there was a ripped piece of fabric, or something like that, and it didn't go reported, then that tells you that the people in the area either don't care or they're getting paid off by whoever's the people stealing it. I mean,
But yeah, but what I'm saying is that this
There-
was 3 days ago. If there was like blood on the ground or something, they probably would have been walked over by now or some shit.
but blood.
There wasn't anything to that effect that you witnessed during your surveying the location.
So what that tells us is that they either went voluntarily or there was magic involved.
Or
Or if
they
there
had
was
absolutely
no
no
signs of
chance.
struggle, then it got wiped away.
I'm pretty sure like regular people have zero fucking chance against the assassins, so they don't even have to struggle. Like,
Right. I mean, they literally blended in with the darkness. They probably didn't even know what was coming before they got knocked out. Well, I think so. What do you think, Flint? Do you think that there's something that we might be able to learn from the areas on the outskirts of the city? It's probably going to take us the rest of the day by digging around and asking people or last known associates of the ones that we have names but don't have locations. And the areas they disappeared from probably are less traffic, but I don't know if we're going to find any like really meaningful sign.
Yeah, I think our best bet is probably to follow up with what Kiri was saying and locate the last 3 locations of the victims that have gone missing, and then see if we can make a geological profile of those who have gone missing.
Okay. So,
Or geographical, sorry, not geological. My bad.
okay, so how would you recommend we start that? We have names and we have general areas.
Connor, Connor, if these disappearances were to get plotted on a map, what would it look like? Or actually, what
Outskirts of
does
the
the
city.
map look like?
Are you
Outskirts of the
looking for
city.
like the dots to make a pentagram or something?
No. I just want to see the dots. Like if you
well,
were to
are
bring up
they
a
like
map,
next to each other? Are they far away? Like,
Are they spread? Like, are they spread around the perimeter?
Fairly,
Like,
fairly spread around the perimeter. Like, no 2 people were taken right next to each other.
is there any spot on the map that seems to be void of these dots?
Yes.
Like a substantial amount? Like I would say maybe 1/4.
Hold on just a sec. Let me make sure I don't bring you to something I don't want you to see. Okay.
Are you
we'll
asking
use-
if they're all spaced out evenly away from something?
Or if they're just spaced along like the outskirts of the town.
Yeah, they're spaced along the outskirts of the town. So
Are we supposed to see something on this?
I'm gonna draw it out for you.
Oh, okay, sorry. Someone.
So let's say this is
arrowed.
Fort Ranik.
Okay.
Like you have a dot like here, a dot like there, a dot like there, here, and like there. So I mean, arguably like here is a gap, there, maybe down here.
Hmm.
So that no
See-
one's too close to anyone else that went missing.
So
And
they
the
were
missing
trying
ones
to.
are assumably even farther out.
So
Like
Connor.
the ones that we don't have locations.
Well, here's the thing. My theory right now, after looking at this map, is that whoever kidnapped these people knew the guard locations, right? Doesn't it look like each sector that these people were taken in was probably all like a guard section? Like this was a guard section, 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 and this was a guard section, right?
Well, we don't
So you're
know, and we
saying
don't know
that
where the
they
last three are.
timed the- You
We
said
don't know
they
what the other three
timed
are
the
exactly,
kidnappings
but
with guard cycles.
what I'm saying is that we need to get a map of the guard locations.
The walls around town, from what you've seen, are patrolled.
Right, the walls are, but that's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the inner city.
The
Also,
inner
just,
city,
like,
we know
roaming
for a fact that
patrols.
no disappearances happened in town square because it's too
But-
lit.
Ego, what I'm saying is inner city is anything, I would guess anything inside the walls, right?
They were all inside
Yeah.
the walls, were they not?
So technically that would be, I mean, not like inner city, but that's just inside the
So,
walls.
Where
So what
are
I'm
you
saying is that, like,
going
let's
with
say
this?
a guard patrol is this, right? Where this, like, X makes. That's one. And then a guard patrol patrols this area, right? And then a guard patrol patrols this area. And a guard patrol patrols this area. And a guard patrols this area, right? What I'm saying is that what if all these people got taken at different guard patrol locations as to not raise suspicion, right? 3 people get taken from the same guard patrol location, they're bound to get caught eventually, right? But if one gets taken from, it's like, think about it like this: different counties have different police forces that don't always talk to each other. So if you have a serial killer who's moving from one county to the next county, they killed someone in one county and they moved to the next, that county might not even realize that it's a serial killer. They think it's an isolated killing, but that
So
guy's already gone.
Your hypothesis here is that the ones who did the kidnapping knew details of the
Exactly.
guard structure.
Like, what if they're working for, what if they have someone on the inside?
If this is the syndicate, I can tell you they already know. Like, they know.
Right, but
They
what
knew the guard structure.
Exactly, but we as characters need to realize that before we can continue on with this investigation with accurate information, right?
Darrow, myself, as a former syndicate member, I'm telling you, they know.
Right, but I would like to confirm that information that you already know, just so that we can be 100% sure. Meaning I want to go to the captain of the guard and get his guard rotation patterns.
Okay.
So we're heading back to the magistrate. In the interest of time, I will ask you to roll me a persuasion check, because that's pretty classified intel, and like, you are in good standing, but that's not something that's readily handed out to people. Listen, son, I see what it is you're getting at, and I appreciate that you're trying to help, but I can't just release that information. Even if it were forcibly taken from you somehow, it's information that could compromise the safety of a lot of people.
Can anyone else roll, or does it have to be just me?
Well,
No,
sir,
I mean, it could.
us asking you your guard cycles is different than you looking at this map and maybe confirming our hypothesis or suspicions. Is that something you'd be able to do?
I'd be much more open to that.
Okay, so Flint, you have a map. Can you just do like a sketch or point out what you think you're trying to go on and what you're trying to prove here?
So
Man,
Flint,
and then maybe
Flint hastily scrawls on his map these, imaginary sectors for each of the kidnapping victims as to what he thinks might be the guards, rolling posts. And he hands it to him.
Granted, this is incomplete because the other 8 points would add other regions, but
Right, exactly.
He studies it for a moment. He says, I won't provide you with more specifics than this, but you are roughly correct. A different group of guards would be responsible for the patrol of each of these areas.
So is there a possibility of Flint or anyone else in the party being able to infer the other missing locations from the map given the information that was just handed to us?
Say again?
If,
I mean, you can kind of
don't
just
think that
from
I've
looking
operated in the city.
what did you say, Connor?
just from looking at like this right here, this swath is like a
Right.
prime spot. You can kind of just even looking at it like in here would probably be a good one.
Exactly, that's
And,
what I
like,
was thinking.
Yeah.
But we saw from when we looked at the other spots, there was nothing that said this is where someone went missing. So if we just walk by the area, there's probably not going to be anything that says this is where
Right.
someone went missing.
However, if we talk to the people that inhabit those areas on a daily basis, they might have information about someone that they know regularly who went missing.
Well, when we spoke to Elsan at Magistrates, he basically said that there is people who could know, like, generally where these last 3 people went before they went missing, but we don't have an exact disappearance. So we could
But
go
that
to...
exact location no longer matters because there's no evidence of them disappearing in that location. So getting a rough estimate of where they went missing is going to benefit us more than not knowing at all.
Right, that's why we go
Carrie
to
has
the
that written
people...
on her paper right there.
Yeah, that's why we go to talk to the people that would know where these people have generally gone before they went missing.
And then where would those people be?
Well, let's look at the paper.
And what does the paper say?
Whatever the VM deems that the paper says.
It has like the precise whereabouts of these 5 locations you already have depicted, but it just has descriptions of the other 3, like ages and descriptions.
Didn't Elsan say
doesn't-
that there is people that would know where, like, what, generally speaking,
Yeah, I mean,
where...
sure, there's got to be someone who knows where these people went.
But we don't have a location for those people, right?
Mhm.
So like if we went to talk to them and we described the person from the description that we got from him, they would know if that was someone that got taken from their district or whatever.
Yeah, I figured
Yeah.
that, like, what he meant was that, like, there is a contact that they have for each of these people, but, like, they don't have an exact
Right.
disappearance.
But I think the whole purpose of doing what we just did was to find out where those locations are in order to go ask those people, right? Because we didn't find a pattern, we would just be randomly walking around town asking people. And, like, if we weren't in the right area, no one would have any idea who we were talking about, so...
Darrow, I know I don't keep up very well, but I just want to make something bugs me. We're sure it's more feasible that they spread out the kidnappings so that each guard would be roughly equally responsible versus just paying off one guard and keeping them all in one section.
I mean, it could be a mix of both, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was gonna say, yeah, having 8 people under your thumb sounds quite a bit more difficult than having one really under.
No.
Wait, but think about this. What if that one person under your thumb is the chief?
I mean, again, that's still more difficult than having one not the chief under your thumb and just kidnapping entirely from that person's area. And then killing them at the end.
But then all the kidnappings would be in the same location.
I know, I'm
So it's starting to get later in the day.
Yeah, so, Flint, I appreciate
all the effort and mental fortitude that's going into this calculation here, but I don't think we're going to really learn anything more useful than what we have learned right now. We could spend days in this city investigating crime and corruption of the guarding force and the policing force, and we might be able to stick a tag on someone and say this person took a bribe from the syndicate, but that's not going to help these kids.
So what do you... Sorry. So what do you propose?
I propose
We go
that
to the
we now
winery.
know a pattern of where these people were taken from, and it points towards there being ones who like to operate in shadows. We know ones who like to operate in shadows. It's their pattern. That was intelligent enough to be able to split up the force, and they were intelligent enough to go out of the city under a guise that was passable with a cart or documents or a reason just to get out without suspicion. This is probably the syndicate, and all of this evidence is pointing to that.
I
So
agree.
what we should do is find a way to go out. I don't know if they are actually bringing the kidnapped ones to Whisper Winds Winery, or if that's literally just a cover. When I asked Davos and said, like, hey, there's a Whispering Winds Winery cart that got out, he didn't say that he also has a Whispering Winds Winery cart that was suspicious, so that would be very beneficial in saying that all of them had the same guys. But I think the best that we can do is maybe try to secure our own cart or horses or some kind of a fast transportation method and go after the winery.
Should we do that tonight, or should we hold off because it's getting dark? And I don't think we want to get caught out in the dark if we think that it's the syndicate. At this point, it looks like they have a larger force here than what we've dealt with.
Right. I mean, we have to stay here till tomorrow anyway, because of the head, right?
I mean, we don't have to, but yeah. I mean, I'm staying here till tomorrow.
So we could spend the rest of the night, or the rest of the daylight, seeing if we can secure horses or a horse-drawn wagon so that we can travel faster than on foot. And I can send another message to Davos specifically asking for him to look into carts leaving the city, and if there was a suspicious one from Whispers of Winds Wines, and then if that's the case, then that leads us to that winery. If that's not the case, then we don't know where they went.
I'll forgo the horse. I can fly, and so can Anzu. But yeah, I definitely, if you could, check with Davos. Maybe Davos can even contact the other cities and see if they have any incomings from Whispering Wines. Because he has those connections, I assume.
Right, he probably has other people who can use fast travel messaging as well. Oh, thought.
Yeah.
That log, did it say which gate the cart left out of it, or is there only one gate?
South gate. There's really only two gates. There's a north gate and there's a south gate. The north
Gotcha,
gate
so-
leads to the wall, so not many people go that way.
Okay, so it was South Gate. So it was going back towards Major Kingdom. Okay.
Approximately what time of day did it leave?
After sundown.
The Gloomstalkers could have just like walked out with it. I mean, I imagine the gates are kind of well lit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But again,
put people in barrels and say you're a winery, and no one's gonna look twice at it.
I mean, it did mention that the cart had 14 barrels on it. So, you can assume it's
How
a
many did all the
fairly...
other deliveries have?
Varying amounts.
Median.
Like 10.
Okay.
You can assume, though, that a cart carrying this much weight would have, like, wide set wheels and, like, thick wheels, too. Like, it wouldn't be, like, bike tires. Like, it'd
And, like,
have, like...
deeper tracks.
Yeah, precisely. So, like, as far as something to track, it would presumably be a little easier than just, like, a person on foot.
Okay. Kiri can track from the air. Flint, you seem to be the most experienced. Also, Skulker is pretty experienced. The two of you. Is it easier to track on foot than it is on horseback?
Yes, I'll answer that for you.
Okay.
Traveling at a fast pace imposes disadvantage on survival tracking checks.
Really don't like walking, though. Fine.
Well, I mean, we can pick up the pace a little bit once we find the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting so tired of walking back and forth across the freaking kingdom all the time.
Oh my god. You poor thing. You want to go hiking instead?
But at least I'd have something better to look at than your face. I don't know.
Got him.
Fine, you can look at my ass while I'm hiking above you faster than ever. That a better view? Jeez.
Can't.
Either way, we can pick up horses, we could start on foot. If we find a trail, we can take that from there.
Hello?
Yeah?
Hello.
Hi.
Oh shit, I was muted. Sorry. What's up?
But yeah, I don't want to be caught out past sundown, so we should probably call it for tonight and check into Whispering Winds in the morning.
Well, I mean, I could send another. If we're gonna go back to the inn tonight, then I can use my last sending spell to send another message to Davos and see if he has anything about consistent, suspicious carts under the guise of the winery leaving any other cities. Because sending the message in the morning is more costly than doing it now.
Well, yeah.
I go to bed.
I would also tell him, I mean, if you could fit it. The 3 points are: have any other carts left any other cities at suspicious times? 2, has there been any incoming of this specific cart in any other city? And 3, we're leaving to track the cart, or we're looking into Whispering Winds and tracking this cart tomorrow.
You got like 3 spell slots there for sending?
Yeah, no, I've got one.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, how do I prioritize that?
God, am I fucking good or what?
Dopeness.
What was the room rate?
Can't remember.
It is. Give me just a sec. 1 silver, 50 copper per night, 50 copper for pet deposit.
Right. So it was 2 silver for Kiri and 3.5 silver for the rest of us. No, not 3.5. 4.5 silver for the rest of us.
I
That's
can
great.
get the rooms.
Food and drinks are included. Bed's real nice.
Okay, I deducted 7 silver from us, so as a 50 copper tip. Okay. Flint, you'll like this one. They were different carts using different guises, all of them fortified and all of them carrying barrels.
That's a very interesting statement they said.
But so that means that we can't assume that it's the winery, but what we need to then do is track the cart as best we can.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. I'm open to it.
Okay. So in the morning we will gather our head. Hey, Skulker, how much did that head cost? How much money do you owe him?
What that
Oh.
mouth do? It's been paid.
1.5 gold.
Do you have that?
Barely.
Had it. I think it's been paid already.
No.
You sold the cup in order to recoup some of it.
Yeah, but to have paid it originally, I would have had to go negative. I remember Flint and Skulker walking out, and Skulker said, I have to sell this cup, because I did not have enough gold.
Ah, alright. Very well.
So it's covered then.
Yes.
Okay, I thought that was you needed to pay for it still.
No, I do need to pay for it, but I have the funds. I'm just gonna be a welfare case after this.
Okay. Well, I think we have 2 gold in the bag now, so we're
Okay.
not gonna go hungry.
Cool.
Don't forget the thank you
Foraging.
pouch.
Oh, I added that to the bag.
Cool.
Yep, we have 217 silver.
Nice.
We're getting quite the coffer.
So, would we like to Skyrim style wait 10 hours or whatever it is? Or do we want, like, roleplay? I'm down with either. I just don't want to give you guys something you don't want.
I am all up for Witcher 8-hour rest, where you literally sit on the fucking ground for 8 hours, and then you're just like, oh yeah, here, stand up, and everyone just walked around you for that 8 hours.
I mean, we have room, so I assume we could just say, like, oh, we just
Right now.
chilled for the night
Right,
and the
yeah.
cart had dinner.
Yeah, I'm being
Call it a day.
facetious, but yes.
You enjoy your free dinner and drinks. and we go to bed for the night.
Nice, well rested night again.
Yes. You awaken fully rested. Nothing out of the ordinary. Same breakfast as yesterday. Still good, but be nice to have something different.
Might be a sign that we should be moving on.
I could go for some of that fucking breakfast right now. I am starving.
I could just go for some consistency. Oof.
So, Skulker, I guess we'll go grab your head, and
Heads.
then heads, and then what? Just go
Book
off
it.
the south gate and start tracking.
I mean,
See
I
what the
would
fuck happens?
start at the winery.
Well, the winery is all the way across the country.
Country?
Oh, looking them. Okay, yeah, let's start at the gate. See if we can find anything.
Let's look for the softest ground.
Right. We'll go to the gate and see if we can find some specifically deep cart tracks that match what the theoretical description of the wine cart might be. And along the way, we can ask outposts if we find them if they saw a cart roughly matching the description of the one that left the gate. Because it has been 3 days now, and the roads aren't not used. But that's literally the best idea that I've got. Oh, Kiri, you have the ability to send out an animal and tell it a description of a thing, and it'll find that thing and deliver a message to that thing and then come back, right?
If I have seen that thing before.
Well,
and I think it's within a certain distance, isn't it?
50 miles for flying creatures and 25 miles for land-based creatures.
Oh, 50 miles. Yeah, that's... Cart definitely could have covered 50 miles in 4 days. Right? Am I correct in assuming that?
I assume so.
I mean, 12.5 miles per day. What does it come down to? 1.25 per hour for 10 hours. Yeah, they could have done that easy.
They could have done that very easily.
Yep, so, yeah, that's... Yeah. Never mind. Yeah, so best idea I've got is literally to track the tracks.
Yeah, we could try it.
Okay. So this road that leads south from Fort Ranik forks in two distinct different directions. There's off to Mirefall, and there's like towards more of the Central Kingdom and like Ascalon City. You see that the one to Ascalon City is a lot more traveled. There's a couple there's a lot of tracks going on this road. So if you had to take a bet between the two, your characters are thinking that this southwest fork would be a better bet. There aren't any super distinct heavy tracks going off the south.
Let's do it then. Let's take the one towards the center. If there's not any distinct tracks going towards...
Yo, you paid attention through that? I am proud. I
had a hard
zoned
time.
out.
I had to like really focus. But I did.
Damn, that one. I feel bad.
No, I was appreciating the auto-tune-esque features of it.
Let's see. Oh, my voice mod is enabled. How did that happen?
Yeah, I thought you purposefully did that.
No, I have no idea how that happened.
Yeah, you were like talking like auto-tuned because you had that thing on.
I figured it wasn't on purpose because the words you were using were they were the same words you would normally choose to describe just a regular scene.
Like, I'm not here like, I'm just fucking, out here living it. Okay, so
Right,
everyone
so we do
who would
that.
like to please roll me perception.
Gotcha.
Me. Can Lulu help?
Yes.
Hot
Pets, people, everyone is welcome.
Is there a spell that I can use that gives people advantage on checks or something?
It's the
No,
fucking
bless is not it. It's guidance.
enhance ability. Is a cleric spell, I'm pretty sure. I'm blanking on what it does exactly.
Kiri and Anzo, by the way, are like tracking in the air, trying to see the bigger picture. But where is that?
Air?
Yeah. Like flying, seeing from the bigger
Like how
picture
high
sometimes.
up? Because I'd probably
Not very high.
Depending on. Okay. Just careful, because I think Aarakocra gives you proficiency in perception, but it's not like you have actual eagle eyes.
Yeah, no. Like, I'm not doing it, like, I don't know, 100 feet in the air or anything.
So...
I'm doing it, like, from above so to get a different angle than the rest of the party, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, enhance ability says the target gets advantage on intelligence checks, not investigation. So, I'm
Well, no.
thinking...
Whenever it says advantage on X checks, doesn't that extend to all abilities based on it? Or skills based on it?
I don't know for sure. Is that a spell that you have?
Yeah.
No, perception isn't intelligence
Only
anyway.
because if not, I'll say let's skip past it. If you do have it. So for now, I'll say that like when we say charisma checks, that would be perception, persuasion, deception, performance, etc. Strength, athletics, dexterity, acrobatics, stealth.
Right.
So regardless of that,
yeah.
Kiri, Anzu, or wait, no. Kiri, Skulker, and Lulu, you're all kind of following the trail, and there's like a couple like distinct. There's like a lot of footprints and like wheel marks and things like that. But you see, there's a very faint set of tracks that are thick wheels that lead west off the trail into the Silver Mist Forest.
Oh.
They are thick. It would be a large cart that made this.
Well, that didn't take long. Kiri. I will... Shit, I can't cast a spell if I don't have it prepared. Fuck. I'll just remember for next time because I didn't prepare that this morning. Yeah, maybe you can scout ahead and scan it from above and see what's going on, and we'll follow the tracks from ground side.
Sure.
Do a wide perimeter pass and see if you can see anything that's fishy, and we'll keep following tracks.
So you do like fishing?
Skulker.
Thank you, Josh.
Can you do the sneaky sneak thing and either watch for ambushes or do the sneaky sneak through the woods as Flint and I are walking through to check and look for ambushes?
Sure, why not?
Basically do the rogue thing and go wide.
Be a scout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so Kiri will scout from above, and you can scout
do that thing where,
shadows.
when people show up to, like, search an area for missing bodies, like, everybody just, like, walks 20 feet away from each other in, like, a line.
So we said there's, like, a forest nearby that I can creep in?
Right, yeah, the Connor just said that there was deep tracks that went off the trail into the woods.
Alright, I'm gonna cast this to make myself look like a typical woodland creature.
A deer or some shit?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay. So,
And
just for
yeah.
memory jogging, this is the Silver Mist Forest, the place where you guys found the well to Melandru.
Right. Yeah, and that's
there's
where we
also
had the unicorn.
the bandit outpost was also located in here. So, from flying above,
Man, this
it's
forest
kind
is
of
popping off.
tough. It's kind of tough to survey the ground itself. A, because there's like the mist that's always clinging to the ground here, and B, because of all the trees.
Yeah, if it got too hard, I would have just joined them on the ground.
Yeah. So, everyone, please make me survival checks to keep the tracks through the mist. Pets and such are eligible as well.
Damn. That's the trees talking.
Yeah, between your collective efforts, you're able to follow the tracks. I need... So
If it
after...
tries to sabotage us, we don't succumb.
So after tracking these for about the better part of a day, it's starting to come up on evening now. You made your way deep into the woods without much incident. You come across some kind of... It's like splintered wood. And I need everyone here to roll me investigation checks, please. Or anyone who would like to.
I'm fresh. Too much mist. All my birdie eyes.
Yeah.
So whoever
Wow. Natural 20, 16.
She's keeping up with me. I'm teaching her well.
I'm surprised Flint didn't want a piece of this one.
Hey, look! Anzu too!
Nice.
Animals are
The
on
pets
point.
are on point.
Yeah. Alright, so everyone except Kiri, pets included, sorry Kiri, is basically aware of the fact that there are several splintered barrels lying here. Not only are... so there's like obviously broken wood and like the iron rings and such. There's also some footprints that, like, studying them, the more you kind of realize the steps are kind of erratic and like misaligned and uneven, almost as if you get the feeling that whoever made these steps, like, their legs had been numb for like a day or something like that. However, it's the pets who actually bring something else to your attention. Underneath the mist, you, like, Anzu and Lulu are sort of looking around, and they find a couple different pieces of frayed rope that have been cut fairly recently. You can tell by the wear on the fray that it's kind of fresh. So someone was here cutting rope and breaking barrels. And there are now... the cart tracks are still going, but the footprints are kind of like staggered around this one area, like here, and then it looks like they all kind of make their way back to the cart tracks, and the cart tracks continue.
So, are you inferring that the barrels being
Implying.
broken and the footprints going around, that the little footprints got away, or the little footprints were brought back to the cart?
The little footprints were brought back to the cart.
Okay.
Minus for improper use of inferring.
Hey, how about you go suck a fat one there, boy?
Okay.
Let's not say I did.
So, cool. Yeah. I almost got happy there for a second, thinking that they got away, but they did.
So, I'm just trying to understand this scene right now. If there's broken barrels, cut rope, and these things were brought to the cart, are they being... Where are they getting brought?
It's possible that the cart stopped. The people who were driving the cart broke open the barrels, took the children out of the barrels, tied them up, and put them on the cart so that they were no longer in barrels.
But why would they do that
Also,
here?
For the sake of clarity, they're not actually children.
They're young adults.
Right, they're young
adolescents.
adults. They're adolescent humans. I keep calling them kids because I've reached that age where anyone who's younger than me is a kid.
My question is just like, what would be the point of stopping here and removing them from barrels, cutting the ropes off, and putting them back on the cart? Why would they do that here? Are they getting transported from one cart to another? Are they just... or why? Like...
Oh.
Why would they do that before reaching their destination?
Well, I think that's the thing is that they're doing it before reaching their destination so that the kids are, visible.
You can roll me straight intelligence check.
Her or everyone?
Carrie's the one
specifically.
doing the line of questioning.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they had a part coming up where they're gonna have to walk. It's better not to get everyone acclimated to being able to move when that time comes. Or like,
Basically not being numb and invalid.
yeah.
So that they don't have to drag them on the ground.
So, you guys can follow the tracks a little longer. Nightfall hits. Do we want to go through the night, or are we going to stop the rest?
I think we should stop for rest. I don't think going through the night is a good idea.
Right in the middle of the woods in enemy territory, stopping for rest.
Well, here's the thing. We either stop for rest and try to, go during daylight, or we might bump into a big fucking party in the middle of the night of people who are invisible in the night.
Right, so you're recommending the course of action of going off of the trail and attempting to hide in the woods?
Yes.
Okay, I accept that rationale.
Okay. So, give me a watch order, please.
Think what it's I'll go fuck, Kiri doesn't have night sight.
But Anzu does, and I have a spell that gives me dark vision. If I need to.
So then I'll go first, then the two of you figure it out. Who goes second and third, and then Flint does last. That's kind of what we usually do.
I mean, Lucas is, I think he's occupied with something, so I'll speak for him, but he usually volunteers to just take the rest of watch, because he only needs 4 hours of trance.
Right, so each of us do one, and then he does the other 4. And we don't break our long rest cycle by being awake for a single hour.
I think he means he goes for the first, whoever takes watch first just takes watch, and then he takes the rest of it because he doesn't need any more rest.
Right, well, we don't sleep for 5 hours. We sleep for 8 hours.
I know the way you guys did it last session, if it helps, is Darrow went first, Skulker went second, 2 hours apiece, and then Flint went third for 4 hours.
Well, then Kiri would also have to go for 2, because Darrow and Skulker would have each only got 6 hours.
Well, that's the thing. Flint can just watch for 6 hours once he gets his 4 hours of sleep. All 3 of you have dark vision.
Yeah, he only meditates for 4 hours.
Right, yeah, so then we'll do that. I'll do 2, Skulker does 2, Flint does the rest, and then we are awake in
total, I think it's
10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Meditation can last for 6 hours?
No, he meditates for 4 hours, then he's good.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep, so we'll do that.
Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first. What do you want? What do you want?
Roll me perception.
Whoopa!
Quiet night in the woods. The moon's kind of shining, so it's dimly lit here. You do not see or hear anything that gives you cause for concern.
Darrow scratches his tattoo throughout the watch in nervousness.
Skulker next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Please roll me perception. So,
Skulker takes out a whetstone, starts sharpening the new toys he's got, including the shovel, for whatever reason.
So you and Lulu are both kind of, I don't know, not as perceptive as you've been.
Distracted.
Lulu got a 22.
Why did she roll advantage?
Because she has advantage on anything that relies on sight or hearing.
Word, that'll do it. Okay. So Lulu kind of nudges you and gets your attention. She's looking over towards like the edge of the clearing, and you see a familiar face.
This fox is on some shit. He's like all over this map.
This thing skulks better than I do. I must know its secrets.
I mean, you fed it, and ever since then it just seems to have taken a liking to you. It doesn't roam too far.
I start a staring contest.
Roll me an insight check.
Oh, bother.
You're not sure if it's just like late night and you tend to think further into things when you're alone up at night, but you get the feeling there's something more to this fox than just a fox. You can't really be sure. It kind of just like, it just like studies you, and it just kind of like puts its head on its paws and like lays down and sort of just like is watching you, but not like tense, just kind of like hanging out.
Like it keeps me in its vision.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sending Lulu over to it this time. I learned from the last time.
So, your watch comes and goes. I'm guessing Flint wakes up and takes over for you. I don't know where Lucas is right now, but what's it called? So Fox friend, seeing the stir in your ally, kind of backs a little further away, and you watch him, and he doesn't quite leave, but he just gets an extra like 300 feet outside of camp, and it's kind of like in a bush. So like you lose sight of him towards the end. He's not too keen on being so close when it's someone else keeping watch and you're asleep.
Yo, sorry, I'm here.
Word.
Cool, your watch just started.
Flint, roll me perception, please.
Alright.
Okay. So, you, what's it called? You have the duration of your watch, and it starts to get to the point where first light is coming, and it comes and goes without incident. Dimly lit night turns into a dimly lit dawn, and then eventually the sun begins rising.
So I'd probably go and like wake everybody up.
Yeah, it's about that time. So, we pick up. I'm assuming the party's course of action is following the tracks again, right?
Yes.
I don't want to real.
I think we should get
Yeah.
on that as soon as possible so we have the most amount of daylight.
Right, basically daybreak. Go.
Okay. So, a little tired, a little sleep still left in the eyes. Our party hits the trail. We find the tracks and we resume. Give me just a second. Towards the end of the day, the mist starts getting much, much thicker. And you see, not only is it like clinging to the floor, but it's also in the air and even above the canopy too. And you break the tree line on the other side of the forest, and you see there's a massive hole in the ground that has the Ashford River just flowing into it. And you guys know how, like, have you seen Niagara Falls and how there's always like the mist surrounding the falls because of all the water that's just like falling?
Mm-hmm.
So, Ascalon locals, let's see, Skulker and Darrow both know, or both assume rather, that this is a place called Abaddon's Mouth. It's a place where the Desserin River, or excuse me, the Ashford River drains into the Underdark.
Damn. What do you mean you can't handle these?
Abaddon's Mouth? Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
What?
K on
Spell
it.
it. Spell it.
You gotta tell me now.
I don't gotta tell you shit. No, I'm just kidding. There's the spelling. So, this is a place where, what's it called? The Ashford River drains into the Underdark itself. And at the edge of this sort of, I don't know what to even call it, crater, at the edge of this hole in the ground that just seems to keep going, there's a cart with the corpses of 2 horses. Anyone who'd like to roll me investigation can.
More trophies. Is in character what I think.
Looks like the horses were killed by wolves probably about 2 days ago. The blood's dry, the flies have already started eating at them.
I'm getting worse and worse at this investigation bullshit as it's ending.
Awesome. Well, bright side, there's a cart here that we can take if we have managed to make it back.
And on the sides of the cart, you see 2 separate, like, wooden planks that have painted on it in, like, fairly nice calligraphy. Whisper of Wind's Winery.
Ah, that's how they did it. Well, I think this is our cart. How do we get down there?
Can we see anything, like, just
I mean,
looking down? Or should I just take a flight with Anzu?
Is there signs anywhere around how someone might get down there?
Footsteps.
4 out of the 6 of us can get down there ourselves.
There is a stake hammered into the ground about 5 feet away from the edge with rope trailing off of it. Problem is that
would
someone
be bad.
cut the rope halfway down in an attempt to seemingly not be followed.
We have rope to,
halfway
It
down.
looks like
So can we see the bottom? Do we know what halfway down is?
it's at like the very edge of your vision, and the sun is going down, so it's like starting to get darker. But there is like roughly a 400-foot drop. Like it's pretty sizable.
Wait, the sun is going down already?
Yeah, you guys traveled most of the day.
Okay.
That's why I said like towards the end of the day, the mist starts getting larger.
Well, it's the dark anyway. Sunlight's not gonna help. But we have rope to replace that.
Well, I've got 50 feet. How much do we have together?
I have 34 feet left.
Darrow? Bag of holding? Rope? Anything?
Sorry, I was reading spells.
How much rope you got? Rope, man! Do you
I'm
have rope?
working on it. I don't think I have rope. I have torches. I have a tinderbox. I have rations.
Does Lind have rope?
I have a lock.
So, Connor,
Hmm.
pitons, and, like, descending down a cliff face, like, can't I reuse pitons? Like, actual rock climbers don't need the length of the mountain of rope.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that's because ideally you find places along the way where, like,
You can re-anchor that aren't just
yeah.
flat cliff face.
Yeah, like you're not just like sheer cliff face, one hand on your last python, pulling the python before it out of the wall, and then somehow hammering it in. Like, I think you find somewhere to anchor to, and then you use like your descent to like help, right?
Yeah. I guess it'd be too much to ask. Can I use a shovel to make such a...
Yo, we don't. You guys still need rope or no?
Yeah, we need rope.
I have
We
50
planned that.
feet, so.
There you go. We have 134 feet of rope.
So let's call it 200 that they left behind. 400 feet total. You guys are sitting at 334. So yeah, you're like almost a 70-foot drop to the water below. It's very like,
Well,
what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't want to say violent water, but it's like just white and like frothing. Like, you can't really tell if it's rocky or deep or anything like that from where you're standing because of the waterfall itself.
What you want me to check my spells for?
I can Misty Step if that helps me, at least.
Okay.
Doesn't that help you and someone else? Or no?
No, that's
No.
not step. Or
I mean,
dimension.
I could like go all the way down, right? And then I can just Misty Step.
Up to 30 feet. So you could reduce the amount of feet you would fall
By 40.
by 30.
Which
It's
is
still
it's
40.
tough.
You bought a
So
shovel,
funny.
but you didn't buy more.
I was curious if you were going to ask me about rope, and then you said no. I was like, all right, well, so be it.
Yeah, I bought
Connor, here's-
line.
Here's the real question, though, Connor.
Mhm.
If I were to go to the end of the rope, 60 feet, and I were to fall, and when I'm 5 feet above the water, Misty Step 30 feet on the x-axis, would I essentially break my fall, or would I still have that momentum?
I think your momentum is then transferred into forward moving.
So then I
Kind
would
of
just,
physics.
instead of going 30
Well,
feet,
if you have, the way I'm looking at it, if
pretty
you
much
have
DnD.
all this momentum going this way,
going down.
let's call it
Uh,
20 feet per second just for a number to it.
Can I be a munchkin?
You could be a munchkin.
I feel like just spontaneously winding up on a different x coordinate doesn't negate all the momentum in the y-axis that you built up.
So, to sadly corroborate that, considering there is a spell called Featherfall, like there is a spell whose distinct purpose is canceling falling momentum.
Mm-hmm.
So I would doubt that that's the side effect. Like that an entire spell is also the side effect of a similar
Well,
spell.
that depends also like on how Misty Step works, right? Because like if it's something that like makes you like dash forward, then yes, it would like replace
like-
momentum.
It's
Or
a
like it would.
teleport. You teleport.
You teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of you.
Then I don't think it would cancel momentum now.
Yeah.
But what about if I were
Can
to
I
Misty
search
Step
the cart
upwards?
or the horses to see if there's anything that can be used for rope? For example, the reins, leather strapping, rope.
You get another 10 feet off of what's on the cart.
Okay. So now it's a 56-foot drop.
How about I just go down there and check the conditions of the water? Maybe we could just
Wait,
drop into the water.
wait, Connor.
Hmm.
You said it's a 50-foot drop. You said
50,
66.
Yeah, 56 with the stuff in the cart.
So 56.
66.
Hold on.
That's 10 d10 damage, right?
How long is my grappling hook?
Wait, so Connor.
15 feet.
I think it's 20 feet. No, it's more than 20 because it has disadvantage reach out to 20.
I think we said the range on it was 520, right? Like
1020.
5 or 1020, yeah. So 20 is the absolute cap.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you for the 56.
Wait, Connor. So I could just, if it's into water, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so I could just fall 10 feet, then Misty Step 30. So then I would only have the momentum of 10 feet coming with me, and then I would only need to fall another 14 feet.
Yeah, but the whole point is you don't know the condition of the water. Since it's all white, we don't know whether it's like it's hitting actual genuinely body of water that's deep enough to like soften your fall, or if it's like rocks.
Yeah,
And that's why
Carrie,
I'm
if you
saying,
wanna
like,
go
if I could fly
around
down
there,
and just
I'm
find
not gonna
out.
stop you.
Or we
But
could
if
just,
you get caught or captured or shot down there, we can't come help you immediately.
or we just throw the donkey down, and if he dies, we have to go. You know, easy fucking math.
What donkey? We don't have a donkey.
I mean, the
throw the
donkey's
cart.
gonna die. It's like
we throw the
400
cart.
feet drop.
If the cart doesn't blow up, we're good.
And if it does, we now have jagged splinters of wood to also dodge.
What do you mean, dude? There's a current, no? That shit would get taken away immediately.
There is a current.
Not if the rocks are shallow.
But then that tells us that we shouldn't be dropping 30 feet anyway. So we'd have to find another way regardless.
I'm gonna
you
go
only
down
have
there
to
and
drop
check.
6 feet.
What?
You only have to drop 6 feet.
Kiri and Anzu carefully fly into the hole, keeping an eye out for any movement
While we keep debating.
and enemies and such. Basically being very careful, try to like go down and check
I don't
what
know,
the
6
conditions
foot
are.
is a pretty dangerous drop into shallow water, though, so...
In Dungeons and Dragons, you don't take damage for less than 10 feet.
Yeah, but even if it's into shallow, rapid water?
Mm-hmm. That's just the
What?
falling damage rules.
Sounds...
Questionable.
Yeah.
So, roll me a perception check, please.
All of us?
Just
Carrie.
Oh, if only I could help.
Sure. And Anzu.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Here we go.
The water is deep enough where you can drop into it. There are a couple rocks here and there, but whoever tethered this first rope picked an area that didn't have many rocks near the base at all.
I would let them know that it's a safe drop.
Do we still take fall damage if we drop 30 feet into water?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, water is surface tension. You know this.
Like 100 feet from water is like
Yeah,
dropping on
not
concrete.
30 feet.
I wouldn't rule it as the same amount of fall damage you take hitting solid ground, but you're gonna take a little something.
I mean, listen, 30 feet is like Olympic diving board, so at least if you could make a like athletics check as to like how you dive into this water, but you definitely don't want to belly flop.
For acrobatics.
I was gonna say, I think it's a dex-based thing.
Connor, is there any land as soon as you drop down? Is there any land with sight?
There is.
How far away is it?
15 feet downstream, there's like a bank that leads into like a hole in the wall.
How strong is the current?
It would pull away a kid, but like anyone who's had a decent amount of swimming experience in their life, like any able-bodied adventurer would not get carried away by it. But like,
So let me ask you a question. Would it be possible if I didn't use Misty Step to fall, and instead I fell normally, took the fall damage, and then managed to hitch a rope to somewhere at the bottom of like our rope that we crafted, and then Misty Step to the plane with the other end of the rope? Would I be able to make a tether?
That's not
Yeah.
how Pythagorean's theorem works, though.
Like,
you're saying
kind
you're
of,
trying to make a rope that goes between the top of the cliff and the.
No. I'm fall all the way down with my rope still, and then latch on one end of to the fall area, misty step the 15 feet to the embankment or whatever land there with the other end of the rope in my hand, so that it acts as a tether from the base of the fall to the island or whatever the fuck it is.
That'd probably work, but I would think I would rather use the rope to take less fall damage, as in tie it off to the half a rope we have from the ceiling.
it could work. You'd have to find a rock near enough, and then you're playing the, like, is it close enough, and then, like, is it at an angle that'll allow the current to bring it towards the island and not, like, just downstream.
Wait, what do you mean though?
I guess if you're
holding the
standing
rope-
there holding it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could do that if you wanted to.
But we have a skulker who's strong.
A single skulker.
We have a
False.
Darrow who's strong, Kiri that can fly, so there's really no point in doing that. Because we could probably all swim to the island, right?
Yeah, I'd rather use the rope to negate fall damage than use the rope to make swimming easier.
Alright. Kiri and Anzu are exempt. Anyone who's going to be dropping from the rope into the surface of water, or into the water.
Before you say a thing, the answer I pointed out says that Jeremy Crawford house rule is half fall damage into water. House
Yeah,
rule,
that's exactly
total
what
house
I
rule.
was thinking.
Okay. Yes. So, shit, what does that mean?
That means instead of 10d10, it's going to be 5d10.
10d10.
Those numbers, XD. Nah, it would be like 3d6, I think, for solid ground. Somewhere between 3 and 4d6. I'll round down, because I like rounding down for my players. But
Okay. Yeah.
and it's all pretty much going to scale off of the dexterity check that I have you roll.
Yeah, I was
If you're
gonna say,
proficient
can
in
I...
acrobatics, you can do that.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay. I wrap
fuck
my
no.
hands in leather and begin to slide down the rope, and when I reach the end of the rope, I'm going to drop into the water. And you want me to do what to not die?
So you're using your strength to slow the speed of your descent.
Yeah.
Please roll me strength and then whatever dexterity you'd like for the water. Okay.
Dexterity. I don't think I have any dexterity proficiency.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Wait,
if you don't,
No, I don't.
What do you
you
mean,
don't have
whatever
acrobatics, it's
dexterity? Can
you stealth
roll-
your way into the water?
Yeah. Can
You
I
sure as hell try.
use my reaction to have the damage?
Attack.
The water is
damage
not
against
attacking you.
Yeah.
Alright, Flint, you're up, buddy.
You may feel personally attacked, but
What am I rolling?
If you have acrobatics, you can roll that to try and break your descent into the water. Also, roll me strength to slow your descent. I didn't have.
I don't have acrobatics.
That's fine. Then it's just straight dex. There's no difference between the two. Also roll me strength. I didn't have Skulker do it, but I am not gonna go back. Okay.
It's in line with the acrobatics check.
All right. So.
Smoker hasn't seen water in a while.
Josh, take a point of inspiration for being a good boy and going back and doing the rule I was going to let you skip, or doing the role I was going to let you skip. I appreciate that. And, alright. Skulker takes 9 bludgeoning damage from sliding down the rope real fast and then kind of half belly flopping into the water.
Overshooting the flip.
Darrow, you're going to take 7 bludgeoning damage because you slow your descent, but you kind of waffle the fall in. Flint, you're going to take 4 bludgeoning damage.
You guys are hopeless.
Word.
Says the bitch
Does
that can
anyone
fly.
need me
It's
to?
fine.
I
Does anyone
managed
need
to
me to repeat the numbers?
I
Okay.
managed to resurface and doggy paddle my way over to the shore or to the landing. Or at least I would like to attempt to swim.
I can probably help, like, pull you over if you're having a hard time.
Nah, it would be tough for like children or elderly to like not get pulled away, but as like any adventurer worth their salt would be able to just swim over to this bank.
Wait, so I lose my rope, huh? Feels real bad, man.
It's what's it called? It's tied up there.
I mean, I could
Yeah.
fly up and untie it if it makes you
Oh,
feel
can you
better.
go do that, please? That would be
Yes,
great.
yes, I can do that. Let me do that while you know, fix yourself up.
You know, I think the next time we go shopping, we need to get more rope. This is like the 3rd time we've need this ground for rope.
Does anyone here like the Boondock Saints, the movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course, dude.
Name one thing you're gonna need the stupid fucking rope for.
Dude, I think
Fine, I'll take my stupid fucking rope.
Dude, the two scenes I think of when it comes to rope are what? That one, and there's one more. You know it really well.
I'm blanking on it though.
No, you're not, dude. One of the best movies ever made. Come on.
Half Baked.
He was in Goonies.
I've never seen Goonies.
God damn it. His name starts with an S and an
Ends with a what?
on, dude.
Sean?
Yeah.
Connery?
No.
Mendez?
No. His last name starts with an A. Oh my
You are
gosh.
the worst at charades.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It's fucking Samwise Gamgee. I should fucking
Oh.
crucify you right now.
No, do it. You know what?
He
Save
wants
3
you to-
nails. Just give me one right through the throat. Just make it quick.
I'm gonna make sure to miss your fucking major. Don't die, and you just sit there suffering.
Honestly, I probably did something to deserve it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
All right.
6 of us
Whose
are
dick
on
do we
the
need to
bank
suck
now.
to start fighting somebody?
Yeah, seriously, thank you so much for saying that. Connor was like last week. He was like, "Don't worry, dude. Next week it's gonna be bloodbath."
I tried to fight the water. I'm
Three-
trying to
3
speed this up.
hours.
Well, I'm not the one that
Single
tried
thing.
to investigate the entire town for.
Oh, fucking sorry for trying to find out where the fuck we're going. All right.
I thought you guys were gonna find out like the double corroborated cart and then just go after it, and then that was like a 40-minute wormhole of just like other fuckery that I didn't anticipate at all.
We're good at other fuckery.
I PM'd Sean. I'm just like, this is the textbook example of your players reading way too far into something. I know he's about to
Dude,
start.
but as a DM, you could have did something that fucking made us fucking hurry up. All
Hey,
I'm
man.
saying.
It's the victim's time. It's not my time. You know, if you stumble upon a bunch of corpses, it is in no way my fault.
So Flint and
Anyway.
Darrow both come to the conclusion that the cart is sketchy.
Yeah.
I've said that at any time, dude. That's all I'm saying.
You both knew that.
All right, enough. Let's go. Come on.
So we make it
I
to
owe
the
you
shore
nothing.
landing. Is there
Same.
light coming from deeper within the whole cavern thing you mentioned? Are there tracks? Are there?
There's not. So, at this point, I get our good old-fashioned. Only darkness greets you as you look into this tunnel.
Don't like
Tyria,
it.
Your favorite enemy is humanoid, correct?
Correct.
Please roll me a survival check with advantage. Anyone else who would like to can do the same, not advantage.
Survival check
Which
with
one?
advantage.
Survival check.
Yep, that sounds about right.
So,
Mm.
You're aware that 13 distinct humanoid figures landed on this shore at one point in time in recent history.
Recent history being within hours or within
a
days?
week or so.
Okay.
From how far we descended down, do we get the feeling we're back on the same horizontal plane as the Underdark?
You're definitely approaching it. The cave you're looking into has a downward trajectory. The water's also flowing downwards. All signs point down.
Yeah.
I would let the party know about the 13 figures that I count.
All
Sounds
signs
about
point
right.
down. That's what she said. Do I lose inspiration yet?
No. I'm not a fan of taking away inspiration.
You're just slowly taking psychic damage.
As long as you leave my cat out of it, I pretty much won't take away inspiration for anything. So let me roll some shit.
Oh, hey Skulker, have you ever used your dagger with the entangle spell?
He is not.
Indeed.
Are you
I have
aware
not.
that you have that?
Yes, I'm very aware. I see it in my cantrip slots every time.
Okay.
Who wants
I
to
was
call it
flipping
high
through
or
my
low?
notes. Low.
Low. Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe.
Ah. Okay. So, our previous forays into the Underdark have left us with a lot of crisscrossing caverns and kind of winding tunnels that sort of go into a bunch of other winding tunnels. This particular path that we're on is one singular path. It gets wider and narrower in different places. Anyone who would like to roll me nature or investigation can do so.
What about both? Just one or the other?
One or the other.
Do the walls look like they might have been made by one of those worm burrowing creatures?
They do not. You can tell studying the rocks, those walls have a bit more jagged. There's like striations in the pattern that the Ankegs dig through the rock. And there's also like acid burn marks that they use to help break it down. This cavern and tunnel like hybrid that you're in specifically appears to be some kind of old waterway. Perhaps like before the path of least resistance was the way it was flowing up there, it used to be this. However, it's presumably very old because it's dry here.
Okay.
So, kind of meanders back and forth, but there are places where it's larger and more open, and then it gets really narrow again, but it's heading downward the whole time.
Perfect.
Our favorite.
So, who wants to...
Before we keep going further, what is everyone's opinion on light?
I would say in places like this, it's much easier to see people when they have lights since it's dark. So I would say keep
also,
it.
we won't be able to see the assassin.
Yeah, we need it. Dark vision or not, we need it.
But that's kind of like...
Yeah, we're announcing, hey, we're coming,
Yeah.
but we also can't get ambushed by 17 assassins out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's one of those pick your poison type scenarios.
I picked their poison.
It's almost
their
as if I
bandoliers.
crafted a no-win situation for my players. No, I don't know. There's a win, but it's just one of those situations where it's like, which one's worse? They're both worse.
Yep, I would rather not get ambushed randomly and need to struggle to turn light on when we can turn light on right now.
I
Do
mean, I
it.
highly doubt they have people just like post it on a tunnel. And
Tunnels lead somewhere.
well, yes, but like typically, I would assume that we would hit some sort of a large cavern or room, and we would hear people noises before. So they're not just standing there quietly at attention.
So let's walk as quiet as possible and sneak in and listen intently for noises down the cavern.
And I
I like
can
that idea.
pay attention at the tracks to see like whether
You can't see anything.
Well, I can put a dark vision spell on. I have that with me. So if I need to travel, like looking at the tracks and seeing if we headed into this big room or whatever,
Okay.
I can do that.
Yeah, so then I guess we'll move silently and listen intently to see what's going on in front of us.
Okay. Roll me stealth first and then perception.
There we go. Beautiful.
Boo!
Yeah, this is
No.
why he doesn't. This is why Darrow doesn't like sneaking.
What kind of armor do you have?
I just have a regular old breastplate.
Okay, so no disadvantage.
No, I just suck.
Feels bad.
Darrow doesn't sneak. This has been established.
Oh wait, yeah, you're the one that kept fucking up like the first time we were in the
In the
Underdark, right?
caves, yep.
Yeah.
Like kicking the rocks.
Darrow
Oh wait,
doesn't
he has a
sneak.
stealth roll. My bad.
Yeah, we're not a very quiet bunch. Fortunately, after like the echoes of like boot scuffs or things like that fade, you don't hear anything. It is also, you guys stumbled upon Abaddon's Mouth towards the end of the day. It is now getting to the point where like we should rest if we don't want to start rolling exhaustion. It's up to you. I will not stop you. But I'm giving you the heads up that it's that time of day.
We should rest.
Is there any like side caverns, or is it just a straight tunnel all the time?
It meanders, so it has like bends and such, but it's odd because it's the first time you've been in the Underdark where you haven't seen a tunnel that bisects this one at least once, or like you haven't even seen one. Usually it's full of them.
I think it would be most advantageous rest band. That way we could see both sides. Stick in the middle.
Okay. I'm game.
I guess we have no choice.
Yep.
And knowing what's hunting us, Flint would say,
With those night stalkers out there, I think it would be more beneficial if we lit a fire, even if it gave away our position.
Oh my god. Thank you. I wish we did that to start with.
I feel like we should light 2 fires, one on
each side.
each side of us, at a
Exactly.
distance.
Far enough away where the flame would give us a little bit more breathing room, but close enough away where the light would still bleed into our camp, so that we're not fighting like in the dark, like in the middle of the two.
The only
flames.
problem is that this is an enclosed space.
And
Fires give off
Views.
smoke.
Ah, it's big enough.
but there's a wind, no?
There's not.
Is the
ceiling
is the
in
tunnel
this particular
tunnel,
part? The ceiling here is rather high.
Yeah, is there
We'll be
enough
fine.
physical air volume that fire wouldn't suffocate us?
Is the ceiling sloped?
Ceiling is sloped.
Yeah, light that fire.
The air will keep rising out of the way you came, presumably.
Okay. I'll take that.
So
Alright, so-
then, torch.
Yeah, I'll use a torch. So I have 6 left. And I'll put it on our east side.
Okay.
And then you want another torch on the other side?
Yeah. I can light another one, but if someone else has one.
I subtracted a torch, so we'll have
Okay.
2.
I've got 12, so I can just replenish them during my watch.
Okay, good. Because they last, what, 4 hours? 2 hours?
I think the last time we were down here it was 2 hours.
Yeah, because D&D says 1 hour. Connor was like, yeah, let's just make them last a little.
And they give off light in, what, a 30-foot radius or 10-foot radius?
It's
Or-
like
40. It's 20, 40, bright, dim.
Yes.
Okay, so then we should put them 20 feet away from.
I think we could manage 30 or 40.
Mm-hmm.
As long as
Because as
there's
long
some
as
sort of light.
any light is
Yeah.
on them, that includes dim light.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, let's do 40.
Great, so there's light 80 feet away from us.
Well, 40 in each
in
direction.
Yeah.
No, 80 in
Okay.
each direction.
80 in each direction, because if we
Yeah.
put ourselves at the edge of the light's
Oh, yeah.
radius.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
Sure.
We have claimed
Being
160
strategic.
feet of this cavern.
All right, watch order.
Me. I will do the shitty and guidance myself.
I'll take second. Since, I typically don't take watch.
Okay, then I'll give whoever else 2 of my torches to replace them.
Okay.
I have torches.
That'd be
You don't have to
curious.
worry about it.
So hold on.
I'll give it to Flint, seeing he's got less than me.
How much do you need for a long rest? 8 hours?
Mm-hmm.
And I only need 4, right?
Mhm.
Right, so the rest will be 8. So we will be not moving for 10 hours.
But why don't we do?
I got tripped up by this too. They're right.
Continue.
I mean, if we just do.
I watch for 2 hours.
Well, why don't you guys do 1.5?
Someone
1.5,
watches for
1?
2 hours.
I mean, we could, but what's the point?
It
One is we
accomplishes the
save
same
half
thing.
an hour.
We would do.
No, we would save half
We'd
an
save
hour.
an hour and a half.
Half an hour.
What do you mean?
We have to
If
sleep
it's 2
10.
hours.
No, we have to sleep 10 because Darrow and Kiri each need 8, and they're spending each 2 awake for their watches.
Right, but what I'm saying is if we just do 1.5, 1.5 is 3, and 1 is 4, which is enough for me to
Okay.
get my
Right, so then we would
So then-
be not moving for 9.5 hours.
So we save
Because-
half an hour.
Okay. I mean, that's better than 10 hours.
No, that's 3 checks instead of 2.
Well, it's 3 checks instead of 4. It's 4 checks instead of 3.
Yes, you're correct. 4 checks.
Here's the
Either
thing
way.
about that, though. More checks doesn't mean something is bound to happen.
It just means there's a higher chance of something happening.
It depends on how Connor's doing it in his head.
It depends
'Cause, like,
on.
If the chance of something happening is the same regardless of how many of us perceive it or don't, then it doesn't matter. Yeah, but how he's been playing it seems a lot more like he waits for one of us to fail it. So
And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, we're talking about psychological breakdown.
Alright, fuck it,
Of
fuck it. Let's just
chances.
do normal. Let's just do normal. I want to go fucking fight some shit. Let's just do normal. Let's just do 2, 2, and 6.
Wait, you want to fight shit? That means you have incentive to add more rolls so that we fight shit.
No, I want to move along because we're gonna fight something regardless if it's on this watch or the next day.
It is 10 o'clock p.m. right now.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, I fought shit the whole time.
Alright, executive decision. We're taking an hour and a half each, and then Flint takes the end.
Okay. Darrow, it's pretty creepy down here. You haven't been down in the Underdark in a while. However, there's like a couple bugs skittering along the walls, and like the way they catch the light from the fires is kind of like unsettling because you see a shadow moving out of the corner of your eye and you can't be sure what it is until you fixate on the bug itself. But your watch comes and goes without incident. Kiri,
Okay.
roll me perception, please. It's a fairly boring watch. Not much is going on. Your watch comes and goes without incident. You're a lot less startled by the bugs than Darrow was. Flint, you're up.
Perception. Oof. I'm talking about, baby. Let's go.
So, about 3 hours into your 4 hours, or no, wait, you're doing 6, right?
Yeah.
So, like 5 hours into your 6 hours, out of the corner of your eye, you can swear that at the very edge of the light, you catch a glimpse of, like, you know, when there's like an animal looking at you from the darkness and you see its eyes just reflecting back at you?
Yeah.
You catch like a split second of that, but when you snap your head to actually look at it, it's not there anymore.
Which direction?
Further down.
So like Flint would just like roll his eyes and goddamn mom fuck down here. And then he'll go about his business.
Yeah.
Yo, Connor, do you consider cleaning his gun like a meaningless task, or no?
Is
You
it
can
an
say-
idle activity or an active
Yeah, thank you.
activity?
It's an intricate piece of machinery, so I'd say it's.
But even though he's done it a million times,
I mean,
I think Flint still takes
Eh.
pleasure in doing it, so he would pay attention to it.
yeah, it's true.
yeah,
Alright.
no, I'd say it's
He
it
doesn't
would,
do that then.
Yeah, it would disadvantage you. Alrighty. Enough time passes where Flint's pretty sure it's about morning. Lulu is woken up. She usually wakes up. She's like a precise sleeper. So, you give it another hour or so, because you know Skulker slept through the night without being interrupted, and then you wake everyone up. No sunrise, no breakfast. It is morning in the Underdark.
Yep, I mean, we've still got rations. That'll keep us alive.
So Flint suggests, he goes, I think we should have the person in front with a torch, and one of us dark vision user be in the back. That way we can keep a successful watch and make sure we're not running that we don't want to run in. Wait, Connor, you said, hold on a second, sorry. Ignore everything I just said. Let me ask this question. Connor, you said that these Night Stalkers can't be seen with dark vision, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So Flint says,
In darkness.
So Flynn says,
I think that the person leading the march and the person taking the rear should both have a light on times. Make sure that we don't get ambushed.
I agree. Who was our best either con save or dexterity save, just in case we get attacked?
Dex, high.
I have a
believe
4
I'm
in
con.
dex.
Nope, I'm not. I'm none of those
Saving
things.
throw is a 7 for me.
I'm the cleric.
7 Dex, 2 saving, and con.
yeah, it's definitely you. I don't have.
Yeah, it's
Big.
me and Skulker then. You want front or
Alright.
back?
I'll take front.
Alright. I'll take back.
Actually, don't want that. Want. Yeah, I guess I'll be in the middle.
I'll subtract a torch to light for the path.
Okay. So, everyone roll me perception checks, please.
Skadoosh.
Man, Lulu is carrying my sorry ass. In character.
Who here is proficient in Arcana?
Me.
Damn it.
You can roll me one of those also, if you'd like.
Thank you.
Hero.
Let's go.
Subarashi.
Time to change the soundtrack.
Tay, I didn't see, but thank you for the raid.
Vexera fucking me. So, Flint, Kiri, and Lulu all hear what sounds like, it's very faint, but it almost sounds like the rumble of thunder coming from the distance. Very, very faint from deeper in the Underdark, almost as if like you could mistake it for a boot scuff. Darrow, you aren't really paying attention to what you're hearing because you can actually like smell magic in the air. Like the hair on the back of your neck kind of stands up as the parts of you that are more in tune with matters of the arcane kind of like start lighting up like, hey, something's going on here.
Is this the same feeling as when we were approaching that wild magic zone when the
Oh,
first time
yeah.
we encountered the
All the
Fae?
way when I was still in the group.
Mm-hmm. I've also put on that same soundtrack for...
Yo, you're nuts, Connor.
I love this noise.
You're absolutely insane.
Took it straight out of Mike's book.
What are you, lift or what, dude?
Nah, bad. Anyway, what's it called? I couldn't think of what's the opposite of lift. I drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drop.
Yeet yeet.
So, yes.
If anyone gets that reference in your stream, let us know.
I'll let you know if anyone else is a hero.
Yeah, so, hey guys, we're getting real close to one of those wild magic zones again. There's probably a rift.
Oh, crap.
How sure are you?
Like my sixth sense is tingling, and I think I have a third eye open.
Yeah?
Then we
Alright.
should be on guard.
Alright, bye.
Whatever comes around that corner is going to be dangerous.
Call me Baba Yaga.
I don't think you have legends right. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah, no, I don't.
2. Should we be expecting your late brother to be around?
Your brother?
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but if there is indeed a rift around here and we close it, he might show up.
I mean, hey, that's what brought him out last time, right?
Yep.
I mean, he showed up last time to show us how to close them. And I'm pretty sure he's the one that gave us a chalk.
Right, but this time we've got chalk.
Yeah.
Or at least, yeah, I have chalk. I don't know about you guys, but I have chalk.
My
think
boy
everybody got
and
chalk.
Skulker each have one.
with the chalk. Yeah, I got chalk too.
I think we all got chalk. Because
Danny
I
with
definitely showed my chalk to the dude and he gave it back to me when we were visiting Davos.
Mm-hmm. That good ignorant chalk.
Yeah, that good ignorant chalk.
So
Yeah, so we're definitely getting closer to a wild magic zone. It's happening.
we're just gonna keep walking. All normal.
we got no choice. Just be on guard, basically.
Weapons drawn.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So, y'all keep walking, and there comes a bend in the cave where you hear voices coming from further down. So I'm gonna be a bad DM right now, because I think a good DM would just let you all walk right up without asking you for a stealth check. Are you guys sneaking, or are you just straight up like, nah, we're coming through? Like,
I mean,
Kool-Aid
I
Man?
think as soon as he said
Yeah.
like, well, as soon as we heard that sound and as soon as he smelled magic, I think we would definitely be like, oh, we should probably start being quiet.
Yeah.
So that's what
Quieter.
I thought, but no one said anything, and I'm kind of just like, and like, I
It
don't know.
doesn't matter.
Hand out. God. Wait, no. I give Darrow my inspiration so he can roll with advantage.
Does it work?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't make a fucking dang.
Alright, I
Doesn't make a.
Can you give inspiration to Flint as well in that case?
I mean, I have inspiration, but I'm not wasting it on a stealth check. Fuck
You're
that.
not wasting it on a stealth check.
I was speaking English.
We start
was I
moving
not?
forward, and Carrie
Oh, you
says, "Hey,
fuckers
we
make
should
me
be
upset.
sneaky, right?" And I go, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Oh shit, can't believe I forgot to be stealthy.
Well, fuck. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll it for the shits and giggles, but it doesn't really fucking matter. Not
Yeah, so we can both glare at both
I
of
mean,
them.
hold on. Stalking my favorite
Yeah,
would
there
give
we
me
go.
advantage, but it doesn't fucking matter anyway.
Nah, favorite enemy has nothing to do with stealth checks. It's only intelligence to recall information about them and survival to track them, and the damage bonus.
Curie and Skulker glare at Darrow and Flint.
I'm not stealthy, guys. I don't know what your deal is.
Apparently, no, I'm not, neither am I. My fucking bandoliers are clanking up a storm.
So, we get to a bend. There's light coming, it's dim light coming from around this corner that you guys have yet to peek. There's voices going back and forth, and everyone's being really quiet walking up to this corner. And we hear a couple voices, and they're talking back and forth. And as we get closer, we hear one of them saying, "Are you sure you know what the fuck you're doing?" Another voice says, Yes, I'm positive. It's something like... And then, does anyone here speak Abyssal?
I think I know
No.
Infernal.
I have common.
Oh, I have
Artificer,
Abyssal.
and Thorn.
Common. That's it.
You have
I
Abyssal,
have
fine.
Abyssal, Common, and Infernal.
Nice. Okay, so you hear the guy who says, Yes, I know what it is. And then he starts speaking Abyssal, but it's like when you speak English and you're listening to someone who speaks incredibly broken English try and say something.
Right.
It's that.
Right.
Someone's
It's
repeating
like
something.
fresh off the boat Abyssal.
Exactly. Someone's repeating something. I need... all of you can just make me a straight up history check to see if you know what it is
No, I
I'm
don't.
about to say.
Okay.
I know fuck all. I haven't read a damn book in my life. I don't know what you're talking about.
Connor starts a chat room with just Lucas.
I mean, when I
Well-
start running my games on Monday, I might actually start doing that.
It's not a bad idea. I had it for a game I started running a while ago, but game ended up falling through. But it was a pretty good system. Anyway, Flint, you hear one buzzword that rings out to you. I will type it. Yinogu. It's the name of an archdemon who...
Sean knows. Sean knows.
Sean knows.
Oh.
You know that he's closely associated with gnolls and just like bloodlust and like blind destruction, more or less. However, it's like in the mishmash of jumbled other words in Abyssal. Darrow, speaking Abyssal, you understand that this guy is basically trying to ask Inogu for some kind of power or aid. He's calling out to Inogu to answer this chant that he is going, but he's mispronouncing all the words. He's pretty close. Close enough where you can tell what he's trying to say, but it's like listening to someone who's a foreigner say like yesn't for like no or something like that. Like you know exactly what he's trying to say, but it's just not right.
Like food weapons instead of cutlery.
Yes, precisely, kind of.
Food weapons. Sorry.
More just like less technical and more just like straight up incorrect. Like pronunciations, intonation is off.
Like infer instead of imply.
Yeah.
Right. This dude used Google Translate to turn common into Abyssal, and it ain't going so well.
So you hear a couple more attempts at this chant. It says, and you hear another voice call out, "The fuck do you think you're doing? You said you knew this. We've been at this for over a day now." You hear a much gruffer voice answer, "Yes, human. What is it that you're doing here other than wasting our time?" You hear, like, some murmured, like, "Ah, fuck you." And then a woman's voice cries out, "Please, just let us go. I don't know what you're planning on doing, but just stop. Just let us go, please." And then you hear, like, the sound of, like, a fist hitting flesh and, like, soft sobbing. "Silence," the gruff voice answers. "Try it again." And it's at this point, when you're all leaning in closer, that Darrow's mace rakes up along the wall that he's leaning on, and there's just a resounding, like, I wish I had two metal things to rub together, or like metal and stone right now.
It would hurt my ears. I
Yeah,
can picture it.
yeah. There's just a resounding, just that just like echoes its way throughout the cavern, and there's silence. The abyssal stops.
How long is there silence for? I would give it up to 3 seconds before casting something.
There's about a second that goes by where the sound fades, and there's a voice that just goes, "The fuck was that?" I don't know. Go check it out.
Before they can even say go check it out, I would have made the sound of a roaring Shusava.
What?
From your direction?
I mean, the range is 30 feet. I imagine we can't see around whatever tunnel we've been listening through.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really place it elsewhere. All I can do is place it ahead of us for the intimidation. The level of intimidation that's not, oh, some people were listening.
You can't like
more
minor
the level of,
illusion a
there's a
rock or
monster.
some shit.
Let's relocate this conversation. Or like, yeah, to get the cowards to flee.
So, Joshua, it is your plan. Call it high or low.
High.
Here we go, Josh.
Oh
What
my
the
god. Dude, we're
fuck?
Face
Stop
planted hands down
calling
on
it.
deck.
Always say the opposite of what you mean from now on, please.
No! No! I refuse!
So, the mace scrapes up against the wall. The sound of metal on stone goes roaring throughout the cave. Well, I should say ripping throughout the cave. Moment of silence. Fuck was that? I don't know. Go check it out. Immediately as the last syllable of check it out is leaving this guy's mouth, there's just the fucking demonic wail of a Shusava echoes throughout the cavern. And you're greeted with nothing but silence. The light that's coming from around the corner goes dim and eventually dark. We're in pitch blackness.
We don't have our torches going?
Oh, you guys had torches going walking up to this point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was like disadvantage on stealth checks
Yeah.
that we didn't do.
Doesn't matter.
Let's just say that we didn't have torches going.
No, we're okay.
I mean, then I would say we're
Lights and
gonna
torches.
two of us are gonna spend our first action lighting a torch, and that's fine.
If we're fighting tonight.
Nah. The 3 missing locations kind of butchered our chance of having a fight.
Dude, we're the worst. I'm the worst, actually. I'm sorry, guys.
Don't be sorry. It's just the consequence of running like a sandbox game. Like I can say like, yeah, it's been an hour, or like time is passing, but like I can't just outright be like, I don't know, X, Y, and Z. Because when Iga said you guys were like, let's go to the winery, I was just like, damn, I was not expecting that. Okay, like let's reroute a little bit.
I mean, I missed the fact that the winery was like across the fucking map, but yeah.
So, is there anyone who'd like to take a peek around the corner before the light goes dim?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll put Skulker as a token for reference. Give me just a sec. You see a cavern. There's a circle of what appear to be common folk. 8 people, different races, dwarves, wood elf, human, in a circle, surrounding an orc.
God damn it.
Oh, I
This
know
is
what
gonna
this
be
is.
the worst fucking.
Oh,
This
yes.
is gonna be the
They're
worst
all-
encounter of our entire life, dude.
They're all
Oh,
bound on the
yes.
floor. Before the light goes dim, you see 4 people garbed in the Night Stalker attire, and 1 person that looks like. Give me just a sec. This.
Okay, that's terrifying.
Yeah, we're gonna get fucking blown away next game.
Josh, I love how you just make everything into a fucking pentagram.
Illuminati.
We're gonna get absolutely blown the fuck away.
Let's do it.
Skulker peeks around the corner and is greeted with that sight, and that is where we're going to leave off for tonight.
I also want to give the impression that I roared like a Shusava. They're just like, is this the... What's up with this guy?
Actually,
I just like had a fucking image
roll
of
me one more stealth check, Skulker.
Who just drew that shit? Normal, yeah?
Yeah. I'll give you BOTD. Ooh.
Jesus.
All
Can I
right.
spend inspiration ipso facto?
That's not how that works.
Yeah, I was
How do I
gonna say,
delete
It's
shit?
kind of totally not. Yeah.
that's going to be a nah from me, dog.
Okay. That's gonna be that's fair from me. From me.
So, I'm working on the sandbox playstyle. I know the last game I ran was like an actual module storybook, so I had a little bit more like guardrail in terms of like if like Wizards of the Coast specifically writing if this much time passes, this occurs, or like something like that. So with things like when you guys are like waffling in a town or something like that, I'm trying to find my balance between like straight up being like you guys are wasting time right now and just doing nothing at all. So I also want you to feel like you can deliberate and like not be punished for taking time to decide things. Like in game time, not too much time passed, but out of game time, there's probably like 30 to 40 minutes of downtime that we would have had for this fight that ended up just not getting spent.
Well, Connor, can I make a suggestion? Or actually, I'm just gonna type it.
That's what I was gonna say. What do you guys think I should do going forward?
I think that like if you have a plan for the evening of what you want to do and like what fights that you want to encounter, but we're being fucking retarded and we are like doing shit and like wasting like IRL time, I think you should scrap your plan and then like just make up a fight like for what's going on, right? So like I don't know, as a DM for me, I was in your situation for this game. Instead of like hoping that we get to the point where you want to get to, where we can have this encounter, but you see that it's like 8:45 and we haven't fucking moved out of the city, I would just like have us fight, like you know, like bandits, or like maybe there's still a Night Stalker in the city that's like scouting to make sure no one's following their tail, and like we encounter them, and like two more show up, and we're like fighting in the streets.
No one's ever tried to attack us in any of these inns we stay at.
So are you suggesting, Lucas, throwing kindling to the fire for the purpose of getting something done that night, or as the purpose of it being a clue?
I think you can do both.
Can I make an alternate suggestion?
Of course.
So I feel like usually what happens, like, this isn't all of the time that we eat up, but a portion of it is us deliberating and nitpicking and just like over engineering or overthinking something. And at that point, we're not asking you direct questions, but you could interject. Like if we're just off the rails, like you could just start answering things we're not asking.
Well,
would it help if I did something like this?
I would prefer the catchphrase, time passes at the rate of 1 minute per minute.
Well, I mean, Connor, now that you've done that, then yes, that would help if you did something like that. I just think that it's difficult when you have, like, 5, like, strong people who are playing this game, you know? So it's like, when we deliberate, it's not like your normal deliberation where it's like 2 people really talking over a subject, and then the other people in the party are just kind of waiting to see where we go.
Yeah.
It's more like we all have our input to like influence the decision of the group, and so it takes us longer to come up with a plan than it would if it was like, 3 passive people, one very outspoken person, and one person who might nitpick the person who's outspoken a little bit,
All right. Word.
So I feel like you need to be very direct with us. Like if we're fucking going off the rails, be like, "Yo, shut the fuck up and do this," and or like obviously not like that, but
or
just
when we basically catch a red herring and start going down the wrong path, you might throw a deliberate clue in there and just say like, no, it's not that.
Or you could do something like where we're talking about something and then we hit upon a point that is true. You just run with it. Like you interject between all of us because you're the DM. So if you interject when we're talking, we're going to stop talking and listen to you.
See, so what Connor did was when I said way earlier, shit, where was it?
Yo, you should have just said the winery went out of business. Like we hear that from word of mouth.
Nah, dude, you really think that would have stopped? That would have made it more suspicious to us.
Why did it close down so abruptly? After I read through the book, I said I'm going to look for a pattern, and I found a pattern, and I said,
the cart's not a real cart, it was a fake. Connor put a smiley face in the Roll20 chat, and that's it. And I'm just like, oh, that's it. But then we spent an hour talking about trying to triangulate the kidnapping points, and I'm just like, but guys, it's the cart. And you're like, no, but the triangulation.
No, we were just trying to get
well-
more information, right? Like, we
Yeah.
knew that it was, like, a cart, sure, but, like, we were just trying to get more information, because, like, disappearance could mean a lot of things. Disappearance and...
Right.
So...
And I mean, like, as characters, we didn't know if the, like, we might have known that the syndicate was involved, but think about this. Let's say they send schmucks to go kidnap these people, right? Because they bribed out the city guards and it's very easy for them. And they didn't send their Night Stalkers, right? Then to us, that seems like it's not a high priority to them, which means a lot of things, right? So I'm like, as a character, Flint would want to investigate to make sure that, or to just see like what type of, enemy we were dealing with, as opposed to just running headlong into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
think
That's just
both
how.
sides of this coin are equally valid. What I'm gonna do going forwards is, especially because I don't like punishing you with in-game time, just being like, "Hey, it's been 3 hours." You guys are like, "What the fuck? It's been a quarter of the day, or like whatever, or like a quarter of our waking day almost." I'm gonna just speak to you, the players, directly, and be like, "Guys, we got to commit to something," or like, just no matter what, just try and kind of like keep the wheels moving, so to speak.
Wait, but actually, Connor, I think that might be the solution: is punishing us with in-game time.
Well, things like this, where like there's hostages being held. I mean, I don't know. I don't give a fuck if they live or die. Either way,
So-
I have a plot for it, like planned out. But
If you interject and tell us like it's been 4 hours talking about this, like we'll get the hint. Like we need to make a decision.
Or, alternatively, and you did this twice, and I both hated and loved it both times. Shit got worse the more we deliberated. Like when we were trying to deal with the bombs, that they're coming this way, and we don't have a plan of attack. Or what was it? The
Same thing when
leaking
we were in the cave. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
IRL, the more you wait, the worse it gets.
it can. Yeah.
all right.
And at the same time, like it leads to opportunities to maybe pull out something clutch under pressure. But usually just like, oh, yep, we took too long. Just go with something and half-ass the original plan.
All right. Well, whatever you decide, Connor, I'm on board. But I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I also got to get some dinner and stuff. It's getting late. But
right.
I have my work scheduled for next week. We're on for next Tuesday, same time. So
Yes.
if anyone
Alright,
can't
cool.
make it, please let me know. I'll plan accordingly. And
I'll be here.
talk to you guys all later.
All right. See you, bro.
Bye.
Peace out. Thanks for
Love
coming.
you guys.
Later.
Love you guys.
Peace.
Bye. Alright, you guys, that will be it for us today. Have a good morning, evening, and a night, depending where you're from, and I will see you guys tomorrow for some more Monster Hunter. Bye.